Hello, everybody. Welcome to Frame Trap. I am joined by people you know and love, the boys, Michael Huber.
For a good time, make it a Centauri time.
I had Centauri for the first time like a year ago, maybe?
Nice.
It's really good. And that is immediately what I didn't recognize it at
Yeah.
first, but then just like one night being like, if you're, I haven't seen the movie in a very long time, but I adore that movie.
Same, yeah. It's been years
my
and
God.
years.
Fucking Bill Murray, dude. And Bradley Ellis.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, this chair is not going to do it for me.
This chair's not good. We have a live chair switch.
No, yeah, it's not going to do it.
I'm your host, Ben Moore. I would say the most exciting thing that has happened this week is the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
And so just very casually, because, you know, it's come up in other things.
Sorry. Chaos. I'm sorry.
It's all right. That's what
baby.
this show is. That's what the people tune in, because this is the chiller show.
Yeah.
You know it's
the real
true.
Deal.
You know it's true. What was your favorite thing from the Direct? Like, thing that immediately stands out?
Live Alive.
I knew and hoped you were going to say Live Alive. How good does that game look?
So sick. Never heard of this game.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that it's like really beloved. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but it certainly looked sick.
It looks great. It looks great. Anytime you do a sick art style like that, any game like that just looks like retro like that, I love. And then obviously the Old West.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, not just Old West, like every time.
Numerous,
period.
numerous.
Yeah. Super cool.
Chrono Cross and Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Definitely Live Alive looked cool also, but like.
Yeah, you were pretty stoked for Radical Dreamers.
I was just really surprised that they included that.
It's neat.
I didn't
It's
expect that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Radical Dreamers
Sorry.
is a great name.
Yeah.
You're a radical dreamer.
It's a great
You
name.
are. What was the other thing you said?
Xenoblade.
Yeah, that's mine. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course, yeah.
Right? Like
I like Xenoblade a lot. I just
Yeah.
don't remember the lore that well. So I'm like,
no,
you and Dummy are freaking out like, oh shit, this thing. I'm like, oh, I don't remember it all.
Yeah, no, it's I'm fuzzy on the lore myself. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Seems
and dude, I was paying attention.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
sprawling. Those are long games
Yeah,
too.
they are.
So.
They're very long. Well, they also just get pretty crazy.
They do.
Um,
Definitely.
but it's a fun ride.
Yeah, it is. Really fun ride.
The characters are really what make them, and it just looked gorgeous. Chronicles
looks good.
3 really looked
looked good.
impressive. Yeah, I mean, especially in comparison to a bunch of other things on the platform, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Switch showpiece.
And I also love that, just like with Xenoblade 2, it's
New
here
cast.
it is. It's coming in a few
Oh
months.
yeah,
Sweet.
September. Yeah,
That's so sweet.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I am incredibly excited. I was having a blast watching him in the Direct, but it's also one of those things where I'm like, that is going to be a grueling review. You know,
I
like,
bet.
I'm
I
just-
bet.
I don't.
Oh my
envy it.
God.
I don't envy
Like,
it.
of course, I'll have a good time. I'm not trying to complain.
Yeah.
It's just that's gonna be a lot of.
That's a
It's
beast.
It's a daunting
yeah,
task.
It's gonna be a lot of hours in a short amount of time. Yeah, Chronicles 3. A couple of other things I want to shout out.
Yeah.
I absolutely think there's a good chance this will just be like Mario Golf or Mario Tennis, where I get bored of it quickly. But Strikers looked awesome.
Yeah.
Bloodworth keeps saying it's not the same studio. It's not Camelot doing Strikers.
Yeah.
So he's getting me more hyped. He's alleviating my fears because the
And the
very
thing
first thing
is-
I said, Ben, was like, okay, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf have been so disappointing.
Yeah.
Mario Party up until this Greatest Hits collection has been so disappointing. So I'm not getting my hopes up, but when Bloodworth is telling you to be excited.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come around that often.
Exactly.
It's like one of those things where you're like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, Bloodworth is
you haven't-
defending
haven't-
this?
Whoa.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
It's interesting to see
Yeah.
what battles blood fights.
Yeah.
The blood train doesn't often pull out of the station, but
Yeah.
when it does, you want to be on board.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I jumped on.
Yeah.
Like I grabbed the caboose.
Yeah. He's gonna have the fun time with it, and that
Yeah.
makes that
Yeah,
it's
it makes
gonna be a
it
good time.
better.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's hyping up Donkey Kong.
I know. Blood hyping up Donkey Kong. Is like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was sick.
you pandering to us?
I'm also excited for Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh yeah. That's such Ben bait.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely Ben bait. It was unexpected.
Very unexpected.
I did have this moment though. I think it was like yesterday or the day before or something where I was like, "Damn, we're not like I'm I am genuinely pumped for Warriors.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
it's not
I'm ready for a new
Fire Emblem.
core Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a remake or a new game, like I'm ready. But I guess thinking about it, because we talked about this with like them re-releasing Final Fantasy Tactics, which I think will happen.
Yeah.
But get Project Triangle Strategy, or not
Out
Project
first.
Triangle Strategy, Triangle Strategy out the door first.
Yeah.
I think it could be the same thing with Advance Wars,
Yeah.
where
Totally.
like they've got a core Fire Emblem cooking.
Oh, no doubt they
Yeah.
got one cooking.
Is
Because intelligence systems got
Triangle Strategy the same studio as Octopath? Is this a follow-up or is it separate?
I think it's the same studio.
I'm not sure.
I think
the
so.
correct
It
answer
looks
is I'm not
super
sure. Yeah,
similar.
it does look
I
similar.
remember being so hyped for Octopath, and then it came out, and we were all kind of like, it's all right.
Octopath. So hold that thought.
Yeah.
It's being developed. Triangle Strategy is being developed by Square Enix and ArtDink.
Okay.
Okay.
Who I don't. That's not Octopath.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find anything that we are. The Tale of the Sun. Ogre Battle.
Ogre
SimCity 2000
Battle.
on the PlayStation.
Ogre Battle, huh?
Tactics
Ogre
Order
Battle.
Let Us Come Together.
Tactics Ogre.
Oh, okay, then this is getting me more
Shit.
excited. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z.
Nice.
Sword Art Online Lost Song.
Okay.
So they've been around, though.
They've been around. Yeah.
when you're
Square
throwing
Enix.
Ogre Battle out
I
there.
forget
yeah.
the Octopath the name of
Team,
the
yeah.
yeah.
I totally forget. But yeah, I hope this one...
Acquire. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was important information. Yeah, I am very excited. I just hope it lives up, because I do feel like we had such high hopes and so much hype for Octopath, and the takeaway was that it was just okay in the end.
Octopath is a weird game
Yeah.
where I got a lot of enjoyment from it, but it is not a game for everybody. I liked its structure and that you played as these 8 different characters, all with their own storylines. The combat system was awesome, so much fun, and like it really pushed you to learn that battle system,
Yeah.
and getting to learn the intricacies of the different characters is good. But it's one of those things where I think if you're not that into JRPG battle systems, you're not going to be as into it. The stories, while I think the framing was interesting, I think a lot of the stories were pretty mediocre.
Yeah, that's
disappointing.
how I scrubbed out.
Yeah. And so I just don't think it wasn't the whole package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm into this trend of 2D HD, so thank you, Octopath, because I'd never seen anything really like that.
Yeah.
And now it seems like it's a genre, 2D HD.
Well, and it looks
HD
so
2D,
gorgeous.
whatever.
Like say what you will about Octopath, but like there's no denying that it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Also, love big sprites. Dude.
Love
big
big sprites,
fucking
yes.
chunky sprites. And it's so cool that Dragon Quest III is being remade in that style.
Yes.
I really hope that this is something they pursue.
Yeah.
Like in a way, I kind of wish, like this is the sort of reimagining I think the old Final Fantasy games deserve.
Yeah.
And I think
Do
it'd
you
be
give that
perfect for it.
treatment to the originals? That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That'd be cool. All right, let's get into.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Wait, go ahead.
Controversial. I'm kind of into Mario Kart.
Oh yeah.
I want Mario Kart 9 more,
Is it
obviously.
really controversial?
I don't know.
Everyone's pissed.
Everyone's pissed.
Always.
Everyone's pissed
This is
about
like
everything,
this
I
is
guess.
just like
Nothing new,
Pokemon.
yeah,
This is
nothing
like
new.
where everybody bitches
Yeah.
about it, and then it sells. Like
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
buys it.
Everyone buys
Yeah.
it.
It's a lot of those maps I've never played. I like Mario Kart 8 a lot,
Yes.
so I'm gonna play this. And
Yeah.
I ponied up for the N64 games like
Yeah.
a fool.
Yeah, me too. Of course,
So I guess I'll just get these for anyways.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
I'll race. Cool.
dude. You can race, and then you can play Castlevania Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Dude, you're good. You got it.
Yeah.
GG. All right, let's get into the games proper. I am leading off the show with this. I'm really excited to talk about it because I have not had a chance to dig into it. Review copy provided by PlayStation. Brad, you've spent the most time with this, so I'm going to
Yes.
have you lead us off. Talk to me about Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah. So we all finished the first one, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
either got to the very end of the DLC.
Yeah.
I don't know that I finished the DLC, but I did, of course, finish the main game.
Big.
I
Yeah.
replayed it recently.
Oh, the whole thing?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
I think I might try
Well,
to replay it.
this
yeah.
game definitely expects you to know everybody from the first game. Pretty heavy.
You have definitely pushed me in that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Where it's like, here's these characters, and it's like, I was like, who's this again?
Well, that's the comedy is like they're trying to make it seem important that like this character is returning, but like you spend 3 minutes with this character in the first game.
I don't
But like,
know.
remember this character? And it's like we hung out for like 5 minutes.
I remember some of them. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you. But then they're like, hey, Aloy.
yeah.
I'm like,
Hey, best friend.
hey, I don't know. It's just been a long time for me, so I
Yeah,
don't really
sure.
remember.
Yeah, no, I
5
get
years
you.
ago now.
But
Jesus.
5 years.
yeah, it's been a long time. They've been sitting
Zero
on this
dawn.
one for a
I
while.
feel like I'm going to die of old age soon.
Yeah,
like
it's
Jesus.
crazy.
Okay.
But I have been enjoying myself with this game.
Good.
I do think that, like we have discussed with each other, there's a little too much dialogue sometimes. I think it indulges sometimes too much in that where I'm just like, all right, let's move on. There's a lot of story in this game.
Yeah.
Like, if you really like the story of Horizon and the world, I think you're going to really enjoy it. Personally, the story of the original Horizon was, like, not that appealing to me. It's fine.
The thing with me in the first Horizon, I don't know if you agree with this, Brad, where I wasn't like immediately in love with the story, but by the end,
Sure.
I think it got a lot
There's
more
been
interesting
some
as it
moments
went
where I've
on.
been like, oh, cool.
Cool.
Like, a little more interested. But obviously, the main appeal for me in this series is just fighting sick robot dinos.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And this game delivers in that. There's a lot of cool stuff you fight in this game where I'm like, man, this is like what I love about Horizon. And here it
Nice.
is.
Back to what
Are there a lot of new?
Yeah, there's a good amount.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
what you were saying just about the like lot of story. I feel like every single thing in Horizon takes long. Not like long JRPG style, but like settle in. I want to like get that point across for anyone that's excited for Horizon and ready to like dig in. Like this game takes its time in every single element. Combat prep, combat fights, story, getting a quest, like looking at all your skill trees and everything, like every single thing is deliberate. There's a lot going on all the time. And like Brad was saying, just like Aloy is constantly like chattering.
Yeah, she's
like-
very chatty.
Yeah.
Man, that's so interesting
Yeah.
because we're not talking about it just yet, but that Dying Light 2 takes its time
Takes
in a
its
way that
time.
was absolutely a negative, where I think it took its time more than it needed to. Do you feel like that is the case for Horizon?
Definitely don't want to talk about any story stuff,
Sure,
but
sure. Just
I'm
pacing.
Yeah, I'm with Brad. I like the lore of Horizon. It gives me shades of the 100. I keep talking about the 100 because
Yeah.
I think of the 100 a lot. Just the original game about like scientists making machines that eventually take over, and now there's all these like tribes, post-apocalyptic. Like it's very similar to that, and I really like that show. But it's just the characters. I don't connect to the characters in this universe as much as I would like to. But
Was
the
that the case
lore
with the
is
first
cool.
one as well?
Yeah, that's mainly what I'm talking about. And
Okay.
I've played the second one now for about 10 or so hours, but I'm just not super attached to anyone, and that's always the most important thing for me. But I love the world and the lore and like the machines and all that. Like everything is so cool.
Yeah.
And then again, I don't want to go into spoiler stuff, but like obviously this new one has new factions and stuff, and that is promising. Just with all the new machines, new factions and stuff, it's a big improvement over the first one. I feel like.
I mean, I'd say
in
this
that
game's
sense.
an improvement.
Across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
It's been a while, so I could be misremembering, but I feel like I did get invested in the main story of Horizon, but I wasn't as interested in like the side stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you feel like just the quality of the side stuff is more interesting? The stories are more interesting?
I feel like
things
it's
that?
presented pretty high quality.
Okay.
Like cutscenes, voice acting, like they really put in the effort for them. Some of them have been like kind of invested in the storyline. Some of them are just okay or whatever, but you know, that's pretty open world standard, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I finished a couple of them, you know, and then you see kind of like Witcher 3 style, maybe some of them like tie together in cool ways that you don't really expect. And it's like, I like that in an open world when maybe you are off doing different things. And then eventually it's like, oh, they kind of all connect in cool ways,
Yeah.
you know? So I like that for sure.
Two things I'm going to highlight I think are the best improvements of this game.
Yeah.
One is obviously is just the traversal of the world. I remember the first Horizon. I played Horizon after Breath of the Wild. And the traversal was just like, you know, night and day. Because Horizon, the first game, you know, you can climb on some stuff. But in this one, they really made it so you can climb on a lot more stuff.
Okay.
Like you have your focus and you could scan and it kind of scans everything and you could see what you can climb. And it's like a lot more things now. I don't feel as limited as I did before about exploring this world. Like now there's some weird mountain. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna climb some mountain and see if there's anything up there. Now I can actually do that.
The like when you do the pulse, you can like see where you can climb and where you can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where you can
interesting.
climb, it has like these yellow lines or
highlights,
whatever,
yeah.
and then if you can't, it's just like red X's kind of.
Yeah.
Really clean, really cool, and it seems like you can climb like a lot of places.
You can climb a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was climbing some weird just mountains. Just 'cause I was like, looks cool up there. I want to see. And they added a staple of open world games now, probably for good reason, of like a glider. You get a glider now. So it makes just getting around this world even better. There's also like a zip hook thing. I don't think that was in the first game. I can't remember, but like you can
I think I actually
I don't think the grapple was.
no, not grapple, but I think there were zip lines in the
The
first.
zip,
Zip
lines,
lines,
yeah,
but
now
this
there's
is like a
Sorry, I thought you
grapple.
meant
Yeah,
zip
yeah.
lines.
Yeah, there's like a grapple thing you can do on some spots, like Batman-esque kind of.
Oh, okay.
To help you get up stuff a little better. They just made climbing and traversing the world better.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And swimming's, you could swim now, like underwater and stuff. Like, there's some cool, like, freakos down there in the water.
Love me some freakos.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Heck yeah.
shit. Like, you gotta, like, hide from them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just an added layer onto the game.
That's cool.
I really like in the first Horizon how you can hack into
Yeah.
certain robots and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
ride them. Has that been
Yeah,
expanded?
you can totally do that. I haven't ridden I don't know how many different ones you can ride. I've ridden the same one for a little bit because I haven't unlocked a lot of the things to hack so you can like override them. You have to like do stuff to do that.
Yeah.
But this game has a lot of stuff to do in
There's a
it.
lot.
Like I'm 25 hours in this
Settle
game right
in.
now, and I still have a lot to do.
Yeah, like if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I'm gonna beat it before Elden Ring, like this game is not one that you can
Take your
rush
time.
through.
Yeah,
Really,
please take your
this
time.
game is like, please just breathe and like enjoy our game. Like that's just the vibe I get across the board.
Yeah.
Is just
S-
definitely want to talk about combat in depth.
Yeah, I want to talk about
Yeah.
combat.
Yeah.
Something that also annoyed me about Dying Light 2 is I would have these moments where it's like I feel like I'm talking to people more than I'm actually doing like the tasks in the quests.
Yeah.
And I just it's something that I feel like bothers me more and more as time goes on, where it's like if you give me a huge world, like let me feel like I can breathe in it and give
Yeah.
me a reason to go and poke around. Do you feel like you have that freedom? Do you feel like you can get there pretty quick and interact with the
Yeah,
world?
there's
the world
definitely
meaningfully?
spots where I've gone that I felt like I went there because I wanted to. There's definitely like some sort of like city on the map that I didn't have like a main quest to go there for or something. I'm like, I don't know what that is. That looks cool on the map. I'm gonna go see what that actually is. So yeah,
Nice.
there's definitely a sense of freedom and exploration.
Yeah, the first one barely had that. There's like 2 or 3 side quests that are in places that the main storyline doesn't take you to. So I hope in Forbidden
Yeah.
West that there's a lot more of that. It seems like there will be.
I want to talk about the upgrades. How meaningful do those feel?
Pretty good. Like the main upgrade I went for right away is the slowdown time with the bow.
yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, this is gonna be super important because
Yep.
the game's about like shooting off precise parts of machines and stuff like that. And
Yep.
yes, it was the correct choice for me. But also like a lot of the melee ones were super important
Yeah,
for me
melee,
because
of
there's
course.
these quests for like battle pits essentially where you do like melee challenges and like arenas and different villages and stuff like that. And to do some of them, you need moves unlocked. So I'm like, okay, well, gotta unlock these moves. So I got all those, and like, I've had like this tree. I'm really far in this game, but I'm like, there's usually something always something for me to go for still right now. I'm like,
Cool.
I still want this ability. Like, I gotta invest. There's a lot of stuff to invest in if you want, not just like passive
Yeah.
things, but like new abilities, new like moves for your bow or like your different
So
bows
when you
and
get
stuff like
something,
that.
it feels dramatic.
Yeah,
Totally,
It
totally.
can change the way you play. Yeah,
Tons of difficulties. I think there's 5. I'm playing on hard. There's very
think
hard
there's
as well. I was like,
easy,
How does hard
normal,
feel?
hard.
Hard
and
feels
very
good.
Hard. Yeah,
Hard feels
good.
fair.
Hard feels good.
yeah,
Okay.
hard feels nice.
Because I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like if I choose normal, is it
Yeah.
going to be too easy?
Don't know. I have no
Okay.
idea.
That's why I want to talk about combat is because in the original, there's way less machines and just like way less moves to do. Like I just played through it again, and it was like your spear in the original can just carry you. You R2 a couple times, knock a machine down, critical strike, rinse and repeat, like over and over. This now, Forbidden West, has a ton of combos with the spear. There's a lot more moves you can do when you're fighting humans. You can maybe have to like guard break. There's cool moves where you can like hit them and leap in the air and then shoot them. There's a new mechanic with the spear where you're building up energy on it, and then you can like slam them with it. It gives them like this energy on them, and then you shoot it.
Cool.
So it's just like a lot more active. Not only that, but the enemy weaknesses are actually important this time. Like, you really need to use your acid arrows on this enemy that is weak to it, and like your frost and your fire. You really have to like shoot the weak points. Early on, there's like the little scavenger enemy, and it's like he has this thing on the back where if you shoot it with an electric arrow, it'll do an AoE and like shock everything. Or like the same goes for another enemy that has like a fire thing, and if you shoot that with a fire arrow, fire goes everywhere. So you definitely have to think about combat more, and there's a lot more depth. There's just so many more layers to it. Like Horizon 1 is just like R2, 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 R1. Like, there's a lot more. A lot more weapons.
I am so glad that you're saying this because in Horizon 1, I really enjoyed fighting the robots and felt like applying things like status or just like shooting off components was fun and interesting. But it was like the human enemies don't have any of that, where they are just so vanilla that I really don't think they are what makes this game shine in the same way. And so for them, even just to evolve that a little bit, I think would make a huge difference.
They're a little more evolved. They are by no means the standout, though, of course. But they're a little more fun to fight.
Cool.
And you need the shooting off the parts for the resources is even more important. Like, that was kind of important in the first one, not really. Now it's like
definitely a component.
But it's like now I like need to like shoot the underbelly, but for it to do that, I got to get the right spot, the right moment. Like, there's just more.
Monster Hunter, baby.
It feels really good too when you shoot stuff off. Like, there's like maybe like they have like a weird sack. You shoot it and they get set on fire. Like, that feels good. That's good.
With the first one, there definitely was some effort in not having combat always be direct, where it's like, hey, set up a trap and try to lead them in here. Do they lean into that anymore?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely. It's part of the game.
Cool.
I did there was like the hunting grounds return, and there was one where it was like kill the machines with traps, and it was tough because you had to like shock them under the bricks or whatever, and shock them and then shoot the brick and it falls on, or like you can shoot and like logs will come out like down the mountain. So cool.
There's
traps,
some fun stuff like that.
Nice. Brad, you said you were. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's not even close to Gwent or Fort Condor, but there is a game called Machine Strike or Machine Wars or something, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked on this.
Is it a card game?
No. It is. You get little pieces, and the pieces you get are machines. The board and the effects and everything is what's holding it back. Fort Condor, the presentation, and the Gwent presentation.
Dude, Fort Condor was
amazing. The best of the best. So
Yes.
lower your expectations for this. It's not in that top tier.
Yeah.
But it's so fun. You have a huge grid board, and on the board are different environments. There's so much depth. I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. All the spaces have, like, mountain or snow or grasslands, and depending on where you are, that gives your machines power. All the machines have different abilities and different strengths, attack, movement.
Cool.
And you just have to take turns and eliminate the opponent's machines. You can only move, like chess style, you can only move certain areas and attack, and it's just so much fun. It's built into the world like Witcher Gwent style, where you go to a town and there's someone there playing, or like you find pieces out in the world that make your deck better. So really cool, and I'm in.
Do you get stuff that you can apply to the rest of the game from playing Machine Wars or whatever it is?
You get XP and like I got like skill points, I think, for like beating some of those. So definitely worth it.
Yeah, if you like those, like,
and money.
If you love Gwent, stuff like that, games within a game, you're gonna really like this.
Yeah, how I feel like the UI though for it could be better, like just the presentation.
Well,
like when the machines,
it's like it's super primitive, It's like them just playing on a board game. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Fort Condor. Crazy high tech.
Fort Condor just raised the bar too high.
Sure.
Something I think Pokemon Legends does really well, or at least it came across that way in my playthrough, was money felt very valuable. And like, if I did choose to really heavily invest in certain things, I could easily wipe myself out of money.
Yeah.
How is the economy here?
The beginning, it feels good.
Yeah.
I'm 10 hours in, it feels nice, but I think I made a mistake upgrading lower tiered weapons.
Yes.
I got a little carried
I haven't
away.
done that really that much.
Yeah, I think if you're even slightly smart about it, and pro tip, like don't upgrade your greens because you're gonna get blues and purples.
Yeah.
I was like pumping things. I was just out of control, like pump it, and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
You just burned through them too quickly.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a lot of the stuff, the good stuff later on, yeah, it costs some money. Like, not that expensive for me, but you like may need a component to buy this also. You need a part from some sort of monster. So you got to go out there and get it too, usually.
Just because I was interested in going through or picking up where I left my Steam version of Horizon Zero Dawn and going through it, I looked on How Long to Beat actually today, and it said
It's long, dude.
about 30 hours
Yeah.
for DLC and everything. Do you feel like Forbidden West is going to take you like double that time? Or?
I feel like there's a lot. It depends how much I want to do, you know. But I haven't been on the whole map yet. There's a lot I still haven't done.
I'm an open world completionist when it comes to quests. I'll do every quest, all the side quests even. Like that's my go-to. I don't do 100% collectibles. That's why I never get platinums. Because I'll do every single quest, but it's like I'm not collecting 50 feathers or whatever the hell. I'm 10 hours in, and it said I'm 10% done game completion. So, yeah.
Damn.
Settle in.
I am not necessarily an open world completionist, but I feel like things that help motivate me to complete more quests are if the rewards are amazing and I feel like I can actually apply them, like Shin Megami Tensei 5. I didn't do everything, but I did a shit ton. Or if it's like the quality of these stories is so good that you want to see more of them. Those
I'd say it's a mix of both.
Okay.
There's some cool ones. I usually don't even know what loot I'm gonna get. I don't even like look.
Yeah.
I just do the quest because I know I'm gonna get skill points too. But I've gotten some pretty good rewards. So I'm like, oh, nice.
And sometimes with a quest, I'm just like, what am I doing? Who is this person? What did they want me to do? Like, a lot of lore, a lot of lingo. Like this is a full on like world where they expect it's like that kind of thing where it's just like they're gonna be talking in their game language of like this and the Oseram and Avad and the Sun King and like all this stuff.
Man,
there's a lot. There's a lot in this game. Like it is a slower paced video game.
You're giving me PTSD and like it's something that's scaring me honestly because like Dying Light 2 I was like, okay, I'm going to like really pay attention. I'm really going to go through these dialogue trees and then you get to the end it's like okay, most of that didn't matter at all and it was really frustrating and I felt like they had so much lore but it wasn't wielded effectively. And so I a lot of what you're saying about the combat about the world. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn was gorgeous. Yeah. I'm assuming this is gorgeous. I just don't want to be sitting there in the opening hours just like, I don't know. I feel like you have to find this balance where it's like the right games can get you to care when you lean in. Like I think God of War is a very good example where it does eventually kind of tip the scales and lean into its lore, but by that point you're like, feed me, daddy. Like you've really earned my attention.
Yeah.
I hate it when a game is like, I demand you pay attention before really like giving you the fun and feeling like it's earned it.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of like optional dialogue and like, I don't want to skip that. Like you come to someone and it's like, okay, exhaust the five things on the dialogue, and like there you go, 10-minute conversation with an inconsequential NPC. There's just a lot of that.
Yeah.
So just be prepared mentally for that, and I think you'll have a better time. Because when I jumped in, I was like, "Let's go, Horizon! I'm ready, like machines. I'm ready to mount and smash." And it's
slow
like,
slow
it down, pump the brakes.
Yeah. I only pick dialogue if I actually want to hear about it now.
Yeah,
Like I'm like,
yeah, I
I'm
need
just
to.
like, I'm
I
not
have to.
exhausting all this because I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I need to.
ask you questions about stuff I actually care about.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And
I don't wanna
that's
miss
maybe
anything.
that's going to be the right approach for me.
Yeah, it's like Bloodworth when he was like epiphany for me, but I can't do it still. When Bloodworth was like Witcher 3, you're not supposed to do every quest. It's like you're not supposed to. Yeah, they're all there, but like really, you're not supposed to do every single 100% side quest. And I was like, but I need to. But I don't want to miss anything. He's like, it feels unnatural. You're burning yourself out. Like, would Geralt really be doing 100 things? Like,
The thing about The Witcher, though, is it kind of goes into what I was saying earlier, where the stories are so good.
Exactly. I don't wanna miss any
you
of
don't want to
those.
miss them. Like
Yeah.
the context around it. I mean, of course, I'm not talking about like clearing monster nests or things like
Yeah,
that, but like
yeah.
the actual side quests could
gotta
be
go.
very enjoyable in Witcher 3. Yeah. Cool. I'm sure there will be more Horizon. I'm going to dig into it at some point, Forbidden West, in other frame traps. But let's move on because I have played this game. And Huber, I know you've played a ton of this game. And Brett, I know you've played some of it as well. Sifu.
Sifu.
Dude, Sifu.
We got to have a really intense discussion. I
We
hope
do.
you're ready.
We
about,
do. Lead
About
us off.
difficulty. We
Lead
got to
us
talk about this.
Yeah,
It's happened today.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to patch it.
Oh, no.
They're adding a harder and an easier difficulty for this game.
I guess I shouldn't say, oh, no. I mean,
So I just I want to express my feelings in a way where I can be understood. Okay?
that's what frame trap is.
Like, we need to talk about this. We need to hash this out.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fine lines with this discussion. Accessibility and difficulty to me are two different things.
Yes.
Do we agree or disagree
Absolutely.
on that?
I think that is
Okay.
strictly true.
Okay.
Yes.
Everyone complaining that this game is too hard, like, my first question is, how long have you played? You know?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people out there where I was talking to someone in chat and they were like, it's so hard, like, I don't want to play, I'm not going to play it. And it's like, well, how long did you play? They were like, I died on the second boss a couple times. And I was like, just a couple times? Like, put more time into it. I feel like with game difficulty discussions, like, everyone wants instant gratification and everyone wants to just constantly progress. But the second you die on something and have to redo it even once or twice, people are out. And then they get to play the victim. Okay, this may sound harsh, but I really want to talk this out. They play the victim because the game isn't holding their hand and it's like too hard for them, but they still want to play it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that, like, you, and then
It's
and then
complicated.
they play the victim, and then like maybe I feel I seem like the bully because I'm like, yo, just practice, try. Like, not every game is for everyone.
It's not a one size fits all thing.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this huge mess. And you have to be careful because I feel like the difficulty conversation,
It's really intense.
It's really intense, and people like I think they hear something and they take it personally.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not
because you have a
attacking
different
anyone.
viewpoint, they kind
Yeah.
of jump down your throat. It's like, no, I'm not doing
Yes.
that. So to get what you're saying, I think it's many things, right? Like, just because somebody doesn't like how hard a game is, they could feel that way for a bunch of different reasons, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there are like maybe physical limitations that they have that make it harder for them to play games, or they just don't have a lot of time. It could be many things. I also think sometimes that pride gets in the way. I really do. I think like, you get really good at a game and you tell yourself like, oh, I'm good at games, and then
Yeah.
you go on to the next thing and you're like, well, this game is bullshit, right? And it's just, I'm not even saying this to insult people. I think
Yeah.
that's a natural thing that every human
Totally.
being
Losing
goes
in a
through.
game hurts.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
hurts. No one wants to lose.
Yeah.
yeah.
But like facing that, like the whole Sekiro PC gamer thing about the person who cheated for the final boss and then like you cheated yourself, that whole thing. But like, there is merit to some of that where like when I haven't finished Sifu yet, I'm on the final boss, but like when I finally got to the last stage or like watched the stream, when I finally beat the second or third boss, like without dying a lot, like, it was euphoric. Like, yeah, it sucks for those maybe couple hours when you are grinding it and replaying something, but then you beat it, and, like, a lot of video games don't do that anymore. They don't give me that feeling. That's why everyone loves From Software games. Like, not the only reason, but that's a big reason why everyone loves From Software games so much, because it's rewarding in that sense. And it's like, all these people coming out of the woodwork like, F that, your game's too hard, I'm not going to play, where's the easy mode, making everyone else the villain because, like, why? Why is everyone the villain because, like, a game doesn't have an easy mode? I just don't understand this. And it's not gatekeeping. That's what I wanted to say, the fine line. The fine line of, like, I do want everyone to enjoy Sifu, obviously, but I just ask that, like, you don't give up immediately. Like, put a little work in. Put a little bit.
Yeah, I really, the gatekeeping conversation is really frustrating because gatekeeping is not, you are going to like everything.
Yeah.
That's like, gatekeeping is not ensuring that every single game that comes out you're going to enjoy as much as everybody else. That's not what gatekeeping is. Gatekeeping is saying you are not allowed to enjoy this.
Yeah.
You shouldn't enjoy this.
Yeah.
That's not what anyone is saying.
That's not what anyone's saying about
Or at
Sifu.
least it's
It's
not what we're
hard.
saying.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
hard, and you can
Yes,
jump
yes.
in and you might die a lot.
Yes.
So?
Absolutely.
Die a lot.
Yeah,
So?
if you got on here and you said, you know, get good, suck it up, or you were insulting or condescending, that would be
Practice.
gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But I also think it's really important, like, sometimes things are internal things. You know, we all, like, have our own subjective tastes, and you don't have to like what everybody else is liking.
Yeah.
That's okay. Or if you do like it and no one else does, that's fine. But it really frustrates me when you turn that opinion and try to make it a decree.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this has to exist.
This has
way.
to have an easy
Right?
mode. Yeah,
Like-
it's insane to me. This game is so balanced with its difficulty. It is insanely punishing, but after just practicing for a couple hours, like, oh, dude, it's night and day. Like, I can destroy the first 2 levels without even dying. And, like, a week ago, I got to level 3 when I was, like, 60 years old, and now, like, played for a couple days.
Yeah.
It's just this immediate, like, I don't want to replay something. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So because you don't have time in your life to, like, put in the time, you know, everyone else is a bully and gatekeeping, like, grow up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it is okay to have frustrations and vent, right? Yeah. Like, everybody needs to do that. Yeah. There's no way you can, like, calmly approach everything. Yeah. Right? Like, even when you were playing Sifu on the stream,
I was broken down.
Yeah, you got frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think it is okay. I think the problem that I run into is, like, when it turns from frustration to, like, these demands, is where it becomes a problem, where it's like, you know, because I had this negative experience or because I'm feeling bad, like, there's so many things worth doing that are immensely frustrating.
Yes.
Like, an example, okay? I love writing. I love doing it. It's like my passion. It's something that I think I'm good at. Every time I sit down to write, it's the worst fucking thing.
It's the worst feeling on earth. It's the worst feeling.
I've written many things.
I want to throw up.
There are just times where you sit down and you're like, ugh.
Yes.
Like, it's you feel it. It feels like somebody just dropped a weight on you.
Yeah.
Right? It's not fun, but when I get done, I'm like, okay, that was worth it.
Worth
right?
it. Sifu. Worth it.
And here's the thing. If you're like, oh, man, like, I have a job, I work so hard, I have this going on, I have a family, all that stuff is valid.
It's
no one's
very
saying that it's
valid.
not valid.
Yeah.
But then that's fine.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's
Play
just,
one round a night or don't
like
play. I don't know.
It's just like, don't we as humans have to constantly make choices all the time?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I'm not going to watch that show because it's too long, and I would really want to, but I'm not going to
One Piece, it's too long. I'm not going to tell him to make a One Piece Kai.
Right, I'm not gonna go out there and be like, all right, cut out like half the episode.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that, right? Because it is like, it's like, let the millions of other people enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know,
Sifu is so shot in my arm, dude. This game is perfect, and I wouldn't change a frame of it. Like, yeah, it was really difficult for a while there, but, like, I overcame that, and now I'm never gonna forget this game. It's so memorable.
Right.
So, like, back to the gatekeeping thing of like, oh, easy mode, like that kind of devalues it for me because I went through this challenge. But like
That I don't agree with.
okay.
That, like,
Knowing that there's one difficulty though, the one, and that's the thing that I overcame. I overcame the game. Like when there's multiple difficulties, even if I beat it on the hardest one, it doesn't feel as meaningful because you can just like not do it on the hardest one. Like when there's a one difficulty option and I beat that video game, that's a good feeling.
but I think that you are positioning yourself in your mind as your own enemy, where it's like, whether or not they add a hard or an easy or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like, you still did the thing.
True.
Right? And so if you let that be taken away from you,
Yeah.
I think you're just mind fucking yourself, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I fall back on, and what I really truly believe, is I want game creators to have autonomy because I want a diverse landscape.
Yes.
I don't want every game to be Sifu,
Yeah.
but I want Sifu
I
to
want
exist.
a Sifu in one hard game and everyone's pissed.
Well, it's not just one, but like if the Sifu developers were like, no, this is the experience that we want it to be this difficulty.
Yes.
We think that
That's
there is
what I was going to say. The
Yeah.
one thing I like
Yeah.
about often with one difficulty is it feels extremely tailor-made
Yes.
around the developer's vision of how they
Yep.
want to present this game.
Sifu
And I got
does.
no problem with difficulties for games like that, but I just think there's something really special about that.
special. It feels special. It really feels like if there's an easy mode on Sifu, and even if I beat it on normal or hard, I know you don't agree, but it's like I still feel like I don't know. It just doesn't feel as
sure.
I
I
don't know
can't tell
what
you how
that
to
is.
feel.
I don't know what that is.
I can't tell you how to
though.
feel.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that feeling is.
I just like I'm thinking in my head, like, if the Sifu developers were like, okay, we've gotten feedback and we want to put in an easy mode, we want to put in a hard mode, like, they know their game better than I'm ever gonna know their game,
Yeah.
right? And so I guess I'm just saying, like, I err on the side of the developers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you guys. That has been eating away at me.
Yeah.
The difficulty discourse, it gets toxic. It gets out of control.
It does.
And I don't want to gatekeep or anything, but I
Yeah.
also think there's so much value in difficult games. Like it's not every single game is insanely punishing, so when they come around, I appreciate it.
There is this weird thing in gaming culture that I think even if you mentally try to get away from it, it's still so ingrained in gaming culture that it's hard for your heart to separate from it. Where, like, we say this jokingly, but video games are such a flexible and diverse medium that it's like, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to play games on easy, like, there's no shame.
No shame.
There is nothing that you should not hide that, right? Like, it's totally okay
Yeah.
if you want to look up YouTube videos, if you want to go on GameFAQs, like. Games are meant to be enjoyed in whatever way you choose to enjoy them, right? As long as you're not, like, harassing. Of course, I'm not, like, endorsing harassment or anything like that. But at the same time, right, like, if there is a super difficult game, there are lots of people that are going to get enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
Let them.
Yes.
Right? Like
It's just like they're always the bad guy in the narrative. They're
Yes.
always the villain.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't want difficulties in a Souls game or anyone that likes the punishing difficulty of Sifu is just the villain. And I don't like this narrative.
I think about, so I peruse IMDb reviews a lot, user reviews.
Yeah,
and it's
me
so
too. I love them.
It's so funny when there's like, even a movie that's like a little artsy, you'll get these reviews that are like 3 out of 10, and people are like, nothing happened. It was so boring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's fine that that's your opinion. That opinion is totally valid. But goddamn, would I not want, like, the creative team behind this motion picture to pay any attention to, like, like, I don't know. I feel like the internet has this, like, intense fascination with consensus, where there is a right opinion, and you are mocked if you fall right outside of that, and it's like that stifles everything. Like, it's okay that you don't like Sifu. Just move on.
Move on.
Yeah.
Or practice.
Like, that's the thing.
Like, like, if anyone's pissed out there, ask how many times you've practiced it.
Yeah.
Like, really, how many times have you died?
Yeah. That honestly, straight up,
Ask yourself.
that is why I love fighting games.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you get in it, and you get your ass handed to you, you get your butthole ripped out and shoved into your mouth, you lost because the other guy
Practiced more.
practiced harder.
Yep.
And it's just like, that's it. Like there's no gimmicks, there's nothing. It's just like he's just better because he put in more.
10,000 hours to be a master at anything. Play Sifu for 10,000 hours.
Yeah. I guess that's like one thing I like about games like this is I feel growth in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that feeling in
love that
games
feeling.
because
I love
a
that
lot
feeling.
of that. There's no room for that in like some games. But
Like-
Sifu is a game that feels better to get better at itself. Because it's not when I'm playing this game, it's not like, oh, that was bullshit. This game's messing up right now. Sifu feels so tight that it feels like, yes, I will get better at this.
Yep.
And the game will reward me for it in a good way.
Going back to the earlier levels when you're really good and then just like destroying it is one of the best feelings of the year for sure.
Brad, I think that is a point worth emphasizing is I don't think anyone ever just likes a game because it is hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I booted up Sifu for the first time, I was like, this is so immaculately crafted, right? I think visually, I think the sound design is incredible.
Sound
think-
is so good.
I think the way that it sort of adopts fighting game philosophy and puts it into this brawler style is really interesting and
It's
cool.
like threads the needle flawlessly between beat 'em up and fighting game.
Yeah, and like the environment design where you have to work for shortcuts to help you on subsequent runs. The fact that like when you go to like one of the shrines, you have to like there's things that you can unlock if you get there at a certain age. There's things based on score, there's things based on XP. It's like all of this is really well thought. It's not just because you want to beat your head against something. It's because when you get good at Sifu, you literally feel like a martial art god.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You're not just memorizing enemy layouts and
Right.
patterns. You
Right.
know, you're adapting on the fly with them.
Yeah. And because, like, naturally in any game, right, I think if you can find an avenue to exploit, you're going to naturally gravitate towards
Yeah.
it. And that's what's so cool about Sifu is, like, you'll find yourself relying on a trick, and then it will immediately shove something in your face where it's like, yeah, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so it demands you to really dig into its systems, and I always respect that about a game.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving the story. Just a nice little tale of revenge. Taking out the like Grandmaster. It gives me like Blade of the Immortal vibes heavily.
Yeah.
Some like Akatsuki organization,
Yeah.
you know? And there's like just enough lore. The
I was
collectibles.
gonna say, I think the narrative is really good for
It's
this game.
so good. All the collectibles are so cool. They just give you a little extra flavor of where you are and the people that are there. Like you'll find something about the people in the level,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, this is awesome.
But you know what? I mean, based on what I've experienced so far, what's sick about Sifu is it has that narrative, but that narrative never gets in the way. Sifu
Never.
just
Never.
fucking goes.
It goes.
I love that so much.
There is no dragging.
Yes.
There's none at all.
And the age mechanic is really interesting.
Love the weapons, the staff, the pipe, the bottle.
Yes, I love the weapons.
Great boss fights. They're all pretty different.
The only thing that I would say that I don't like about Sifu, or I'm like, okay, that feels a little bit like an antithesis to every other design decision that you have, is there have been moments where it's like, okay, that guy came from off screen.
Yeah.
Or like
Camera can
that
sometimes.
person threw, yeah, it's not
It's
constantly.
not perfect,
Yeah.
but
There are just a few moments where I'm like, okay, that
It's the
that seemed a
nature of
little-
games like
yeah.
this.
yeah, because like most of the time, right? It's like, no, I lost because I just did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And so the moments where it's like, okay, I couldn't see that coming, do feel a little frustrating.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's, the StarCraft 2 moment for me was learning to block the lows and just getting those down. Like one of the first guy in the club or the first level, he's like does the sweep kick. He's like
Yeah,
a martial
yeah.
arts dude. Well, they're all martial arts dude, but like he does the sweep kick, and like the first couple times I was like, shit, this guy's crazy. And then it was like, oh, just like dodge high, low, easy.
There,
Gotcha.
in the
Gotcha, bud.
second level, there are these like ladies that they'll knock you down, and then if you don't get up,
The
they'll do a
kick,
heel
dude,
slam.
get out of
And
there.
it was such a great way to be
Get
like,
out.
if you get knocked down, don't fucking stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out.
It was a great teaching tool.
I think one thing I really like about this game is how it handles its roguelite element, or your run, essentially. How you get these shortcuts you unlock, but
shortcuts
it's
are so
not
genius.
always maybe the best choice.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want to do that run, because there's upgrades at some of these levels that you can get that are like permanent for your run, but if you use these shortcuts, you're gonna skip some of them.
Yeah.
So I've definitely run into parts where I'm like, do I want to use this shortcut or not? Do I want to avoid getting in a fight and maybe finish the level at a younger age, or get this power up that could help me throughout the whole run?
That happened to me, and I was like, I'm just gonna try the boss really quick and skip 2 of the shrines, and then I beat the boss like pretty good. So I was like, shit, I beat the boss pretty young, but I missed out on the shrines. Do I replay? Do I keep going? I don't know.
It reminds me of Returnal and running into those rooms where you're like, okay, this is signifying to me that it's going to be like a crazy room with a lot of shit. Like, do I really need that right now in my run? Like, do I have, love those kinds of decisions.
Because you're like, well, maybe I just want to get past this level. I just want to see this level through, beat the boss. So I'm going to use this shortcut. And you beat the level, and then you're like, exactly like Hubert, you're saying like, well, maybe I could do this a little better now. Maybe you gained a little confidence by beating that boss. You're like, you know, maybe I will go back and get that now. That's a really sick, just extra layer of thinking to the runs. That sounds small, but when I was playing this game, I was constantly thinking about this every time I'd restart something.
Yep.
Something that I also struggle with in Sekiro, just because I think it's something that you don't have to deal with in many games ever, is blocking high and low.
The high-lows.
And not just blocking or doing the back dodge is, you really gotta like practice.
That's it. That's the thing. That's the barrier. Once you get the high-low dodge down, like, you will have such a better time in this video game. And like, it didn't take too long.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it. You can do it out there. Just be patient. Also, play in doses this game. Hour or 2 at a time. Like, don't grind Sifu all night long, unless you're on like one fight, maybe then grind it. But like if you're just playing through, like a couple hours here, a couple hours there, like I don't know.
So,
Yeah, I think if you bash your head against the wall too
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
you'll
Take
get
breaks.
frustrated, and
Take breaks.
angry at the game, and you're
Yep.
like, you know, I'm not gonna play this game anymore, kind of thing.
because the angrier you get, the more you're gonna.
You have to
mash.
know when to walk away with games like this. And get
Oh,
'em
for
back.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I think of like Curse of the Dead Gods or Hand of Fate, Ben. Those are games that I walked away from because they were so hard. Hard in different ways, I guess. Like Curse of the Dead Gods is skill based, but like Hand of Fate's a little RNG. But like, I don't know, like just this expectation that everyone should be able to beat every single game is I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're right that, you know, I don't know, some games are hard. Like am I smart enough to read like Ulysses or Tolstoy? Like, no, it's not for me. I don't know.
Well,
like not every game or every movie is for everyone. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
I also think it is possible to like just value and experience with the game. Again, I think we just put like weird arbitrary limitations on ourselves. And so like a perfect example of this is I love God Hand. God Hand is one of the most difficult games I've ever played. I've never finished God Hand. I still value that game. I still appreciate the time that I've put into it. I think it's a really fucking cool, special game that's so sick. Like, all of those feelings are still valid. Like, you can still get a great experience out of something, even if you don't beat it.
That dude,
or it kicks your ass.
what the hell? People are so pissed, but people don't even finish video games anyway.
Right.
What are you yelling about? Just play Sifu, and then when you start dying a lot, then quit. Like,
Or just take a break.
or take a break.
You know, like
people don't finish games anyway. Look at the percentages. Like it's there. The numbers are there. Like
People don't want to quit a game because they can't do it. If they quit a game because they get bored of it, they're more okay with that.
Yeah, like you had your fun, and now it's time to put it down.
Yeah, and
versus like this brick wall. Like, what the hell? I paid for this. I'm dying a lot. I get that. Like, maybe buying the game with money and then like not being able to complete it is the one argument that I can get behind. Where it's like, okay, that does suck. If I buy a movie, I can watch it till the credits. Like,
but like maybe you don't beat it until like a year from now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all I'm trying to say is like, why are you putting so many restrictions on yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, sure, maybe you didn't beat it as quick as Joe Bob, or you got stuck on a boss, or things didn't work out, or you got really tilted like one night. It's just like, chill out.
Yeah.
Take your time.
life is hard.
Life is hard. Yeah. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't think those kinds of restrictions help anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you agree with that?
I
Do
agree.
you think that's too idealistic?
No, I agree.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this a lot, so I'm glad you took the time to talk it out. Just been thinking about it. And then it came to a head today when we're filming this, because they announced easy mode, hard mode
I did
coming.
not know that, until they did.
People were rejoicing. But the consensus was, I'll play now.
Yeah, and that's okay.
But like, you didn't even try. It was like, I'll play now that you have an easy mode, but I wasn't even going to try on the normal mode? Like...
You can't let that get under your skin,
Yeah.
though, because then it's like...
Yeah.
Because really all you have control over, right? It sort of gets back into the, like... You can appreciate stuff in your own way, but you don't really have authority over how other people enjoy things, right?
Yeah,
And
you
so
do
it's
you.
like-
You do you.
So it's like people are in or out for many reasons, right? Maybe they don't like someone's like the faces in one game, and they're like, I'm not gonna play it. It's like whatever, it's like it's not my job to get you to play or not play things.
But when you start talking shit, like and demanding an easy
then
mode,
you're just being annoying.
yeah,
Yes.
and that's where I'm coming from.
Yes.
It's the people demanding an easy mode and complaining that the game is too hard.
Because it's one thing to like play the game and be like, okay, here's how I think it could be better.
Yeah.
Here are weak spots of the game. Versus like, never played it, too bullshit hard.
Yeah.
GG. It's just like, okay, well,
yeah,
all right. Like, it is even just like the tone in which you approach things. I think can make a huge difference.
yes, because accessibility
Yeah.
is needed.
Absolutely, things should be accessible. I
Yes.
don't want every game to be
Yes,
Sifu.
definitely.
I would go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'd go insane.
Every game is Sifu.
I don't know. It's such an interesting. I'm sure
It's a hell
this
of a game.
conversation has pissed off people.
Oh my god, everyone's
Yeah.
so mad. Everyone's so mad.
Yeah,
But some people have our backs probably. That overcame the mountain that is Sifu.
it's just. I don't
But
know.
but before, like, I hope you're not pissed, because I'm coming from a place where, like, I want to hash all this out. Like, there is a middle ground for difficulty in video games.
So, I don't know.
But not every game needs to be easy. And not every game needs to be hard. Like, there is a middle ground. Some games are easy. Like, you have your Assassin's Creeds that you can turn your brain off for, and then you have your Sifus and your Returnals where you need to focus and you need to persevere and try. They are doing such different things.
I wish I believed that there was space for a middle ground. I just feel like
there's not.
I feel like our brains have been
Yeah.
rewired because of how the internet works
Good
now.
versus evil, right
where
versus wrong.
It's good versus everything. Everything is a fucking fight.
Yeah.
Everything is
Everything's
a
a
fight.
fight.
Everything is I can't believe you feel this way.
Yeah.
And because like the world is so fucked up, I think that has also elevated things. But it's just like you feeling the way that you do about this particular difficulty issue
Yeah.
is you just feel this way about an entertainment product.
Exactly.
You're not saying anyone else has to
Because
feel
I'm
this way about you.
genuinely, I'm passionate about this, and I'm curious, and I want to see all angles
Yeah.
of this argument,
Yeah, it's
of
just
this debate. Like, give
Yeah.
me the critical analysis of both sides, please. Let's come together.
if only it was presented that way. But I feel like so many people are like, okay, I have to correct you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I don't have it's always like, I don't have time to replay it.
yeah.
I'm not good enough. Like, those are always that. And then the other side is like, get good, practice. It's like,
That's the thing, though, is like
ah!
where I struggle to understand fully, right, is in a lot of instances, I absolutely believe you're good enough. You just don't
Yeah.
believe that you're good enough.
That's
Maybe it will take you longer.
yeah.
You know,
It'll
like
take you longer, but you can do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I didn't think I'd beat Sifu at all, and I'm on the final boss now, and I know I'll beat it. A
Like-
week ago, I was like, I'm not gonna beat this game. Like, maybe I'll have Brad beat this boss for me or something.
Yeah.
I
Tuesday,
had that thought.
you were whining about
Yeah,
it.
I was like, this is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like 1 or 2 more nights. That's it. I was like, okay, confidence. It's confidence. Truly.
It's well, I think it's perseverance more than
It's
it is
it's
confidence.
perseverance.
Yeah.
You gotta be okay with failing in a game like this.
Yeah.
But if you're not okay with failing, maybe it's not for you.
Man.
This is the prologue for the Elden Ring difficulty discussion. Yeah.
It's
Well,
I don't think Elden Ring will have it this time because open world.
no,
It'll have it. It'll be different though. No.
no. I
yeah.
mean, like it will have it because it's been a
Constantly.
It's
Yeah.
been a hot
Every
topic. So it's going to
single
happen.
time.
Yeah, every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
Same shit. Every
Maybe
time.
maybe they'll be exhausted from the Sifu.
No.
Discourse.
People being exhausted about complaining on the internet. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Sifu though, 10 out of 10. Not a 10, but a 10 out of
It's
10.
really good.
I
Really
love it.
cool.
It seems.
Yeah.
I can't.
And
wait to get
and
back to it.
and to end the conversation, the reason I'm so passionate about this is because, like Brad was kind of saying earlier, was the vision. The difficulty feels like the developer's vision. Like if this game was easy, it would not be as effective. Like when you
Yeah.
beat a huge fight, it feels so damn good because the combat is amazing, but also because it is challenging and you knocked everyone out.
Well-
If you could just walk in the room and like knock everyone down easily without even trying at all, like I just don't feel like that's as rewarding.
To emphasize your point, think about how many games employ martial arts, but think about how very precious few games actually feel like real martial arts games. There are a lot of games that quote unquote feature martial arts, and it's like, I really just feel like I'm pressing square, triangle.
Square,
Yeah,
triangle.
that's not martial arts. That doesn't. Martial arts is about dexterity. It's about discipline in a way that I
Discipline.
feel like
Yes.
Sifu expresses
Big time.
so fundamentally
Big.
because it is obviously so in love with martial arts.
Yep.
And that passion is infectious. Like it is
an
beautiful,
infectious game.
captivating game on multiple levels because of that. Yes.
And that's
And
difficulty.
it just wants to share that with you.
it just wants
to
It
share
just
it.
wants to share that with you.
Yes. Post your hate in the comments.
Duh.
Tweet at Michael P. Huber all of your.
No.
If you disagree,
What
or
are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
No, because I want to see all the sides. I want to see all the sides.
the sides.
Tweet me about this. Tell me.
the sides. You know them.
But like, that's just general Twitter. These are frame trappers. These are Easy Allies patrons. They're level-headed. They're clear-headed.
Maybe,
Let me know.
man,
Let me know if I'm crazy.
having
or
my
if
Twitter taken away from me was like legitimately one of the best things that's ever happened.
Liberating.
It is. It's just,
freeing.
it's just like, it's not that criticism is bad. It's wonderful. I love criticism. I love helpful feedback. It's just like, it just get there. Sometimes there are just so many voices that you're like, I just can't fucking process this. Where it's like, if it's like a nonstop river of voices, you just short circuit, right? Like it's just because it's like everybody's gonna have a different opinion. Everybody's gonna have a different take. Everybody's gonna have a different perception of you, and it's just like you're like you need feedback, but
Yeah.
it can't be everything all the time from everyone.
Like the time and difficulty is such a huge thing. Like, oh, I don't have the time to do it. That's why I sacrifice so many JRPGs, because I use that time elsewhere. Can't play everything, can't play it all. Choose your battles, pick your battles.
Yeah, but like none of the other allies come up to you and they're like, "Well, your opinion is invalid because you didn't play this JRPG."
Exactly.
No.
You do you.
Yeah.
Just don't bring
We
me
gotta
down.
get rid of this idea, because I also think it is bred in gamer culture that like if you don't do this, your opinion is invalid.
Yeah.
And like
I don't watch One Piece. I'm not allowed to talk about anime.
I think that impulse feels like sometimes it's coming from a logical place, but like it just like sometimes it just feels like everybody's trying to fucking sterilize everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like let people
does.
be different. Let people be weird.
Yeah. Sifu is
That's why
spreading its
like,
wings.
that's why I get-
Let it fly.
That's why I get annoyed. Like the two things I'm going to bring up, because both these things are coming from a good place. I'm not attacking any individual person. I think these are understandable things. But when people come up to me and they're like, "What should I play?" and it's like, I don't mean this in an offensive way, but I don't know you. Like, I just don't. I'm not. I can't sit here and get what you're interested in and what your feeling is or what you've been going
Like I'm
through
going to
in
tell you to
life.
play something different than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, but we know each other a lot better
Yeah.
than most.
Yeah, I have a
people
feel
that we
for
know.
what you may like or
yeah.
what I feel like you should play.
Right. The other thing that is hard for me is like constantly getting recommended stuff by strangers. And sometimes I definitely ask for it. I'm very aware of that. But it's just like, it's just never ending to the point where like sometimes I feel like it's not about enjoying the thing that you're currently consuming. It's about getting on to the next thing.
Yep.
Like it's always
I've been
like
dealing with that too. Yeah.
yeah, it's always stepping forward, and it's like I can't. I would much rather sacrifice so many things and really enjoy the things
The
I
moment.
do get to.
Yep.
Yes.
Sifu's giving me that, Ben.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just like in this hyperbolic time chamber where like nothing exists.
That's awesome.
Just Sifu.
I feel like
this game is so good.
Yeah.
Allies, play this game. Do not be intimidated. I mean, they're adding the easy and hard mode now, so if you were intimidated, like it's coming. But dive in.
Yeah, if you play it on easy and you beat it, and you're feeling like you want
Yeah,
more, maybe
then play
bump it
on-
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah. You got options.
It's just sick. Give it a try, or don't. It's okay.
Just don't tell
okay.
me what to do.
Right. Don't make demands.
Don't demand anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Dying Light 2. I don't know if I will talk about it for long.
Sorry,
because
that was
I did
long.
the-
That had been like
No, I could
eating
tell. It was good.
away at
Built
me,
up.
Ben. I'm sorry.
Those are some of my favorite frame track conversations. I don't want it to just be
Yeah.
this game is blah. I want
Yeah.
that's why I think you guys are very good on frame trap, because I want to have those deeper conversations.
Difficulty.
Dying Light 2 is a heartbreaking game for
Damn
me.
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to play when it's patched.
It's not that, because like I would say for the most part there were like there was one time I like fell through the world. But,
Love that.
But for the most part, I would say like I didn't really have a lot of technical problems on PC. I was really looking forward to Dying Light 2. I think if you've been
Same.
paying attention to me and to Frame Trap the last year or so, I've really expressed an enthusiasm for Dying Light and really liked some of what Dying Light was doing. And so I was really
yeah.
excited to review Dying Light 2. And it's not even that I think Dying Light 2 is a bad game. I think in a lot of ways Dying Light 2 is a good game. I think it does a lot of cool things. And so let's start with the positives. The parkour is still just like second to none.
Seems really fun for what I played.
Yes, and please feel free to elaborate, but just the moments where you were just getting into a flow of going from one thing to the next, and what really is like the best addition to this game, and it's so good, is the paraglider, and how much it fits into what Dying Light was already doing well, whereas like the buggy in the following, I felt like kind of...
It was fun.
It was cool. It was fun, but it felt very separate from your other movement options. Whereas I feel like the paraglider kind of blends into everything more seamlessly. And you were talking about like how gliders are just so common now in open world games, and I think that that's true. But what's neat about the paraglider is I feel like it's not something that you rely on, and it takes like a good bit of skill to
You can't over
use.
rely on it from what I remember.
Yeah, like you're just running around and it's like, okay, there are vents that you can try to hit to shoot up and you have to gauge distance pretty well. But there are just times where I feel like running across a rooftop is better than gliding from one place to another. So it's just a cool tool.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like an overuse thing for a bad reason. To me, it's like a logical step of why it's in this game.
I would also say, and it's hard to articulate, the gliding feels very different from other open world
It
games.
does, yeah.
There's a lot more weight to it. Whereas I
Yes.
feel like a lot of times gliding in open world games can feel very like weightless, where you just sort of
Like
hit a button and watch
Breath
it
of the Wild,
happen.
you're just like, whoop!
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Fall real quick, whoop, whoop.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
get to. Whereas in Dying Light, I feel like you have to exercise more finesse to really accomplish what you want to do. And it's like, and when we were playing co-op, we kind of ran into this where,
I was like, oh, how do I do this?
there's definitely a small learning curve to it. So all that
Was
stuff is
Breath
great.
of the Wild the first like open world game with a glider?
I don't think so, no.
But it
just-
popularized
it.
it.
just was so essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I was trying to like think. And
I think maybe it showed potential of like what it could do for an open world game.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild to me is just one of those games that I think was just so impactful that it's like your brain, it's lodged into your brain.
Yeah.
But other things that I like about Dying Light 2, I think the way that they handle up the level up is really, really cool. So now you have like you have a parkour skill tree and you have a combat skill tree. And as you do things associated with them, you will level up in those individual skill trees. And every time you level up either one of them, your overall level will get a notch up. And so there are times, and I feel like it kind of just naturally guides you into certain things where you're like, oh, I'm close to getting a parkour level up. Why don't I go do this thing so I can get some more parkour experience? And like in particular with the parkour skill tree, some of those things are just super fucking useful where it's like, oh, like if I hit the C key at just the right time, I won't take fall damage and I'll roll. Or like I can vertically run across surfaces, like really transformative stuff that you lean on quite a bit. So I think that is super good. The combat I definitely have problems with, but I think there is a good core there. You were kind of talking about with Horizon. So really de-emphasizes range weapons, which was a big thing that I wanted for Dying Light 1. And really, really focuses hardcore on melee. And
Two-handers back?
Two-handers are there. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's all I use.
Weapon mods are really useful.
Two-handed axe?
Yeah. I think they're axes. Yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Hell yeah. Do those feel different though? Like, is there like a two-handed sword, a two-handed polearm, a two-handed axe? Okay,
I'll get there.
Two-handed hammer.
So a big thing that they focus on is, perfect blocking, perfect dodging.
Yeah.
If you do that, you will not only stun the enemy, but you can vault over them and do a parkour kick on another enemy.
That's another question I have.
Yeah, and so that stuff is really cool and is very powerful.
When I think of first-person melee combat, when I think of Dying Light, which does it better than most, Dark Side of Might and Magic comes to mind, but there was a lot of...
What do you mean specifically?
Like forward, hit, back, forward, hit, back,
so
forward.
You're getting...
Like a lot of that.
You're getting into
over and over.
The problems that I have with Dying Light 2 combat, where I think the core is good, and I think the ideas that they're chasing after are good. I like that they're including parkour into it in a cool way. However, and what I want to say is the hits do feel very satisfying.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
they do.
Just
Nice.
like
Kicking a dude in the face is cool.
yeah,
drop
getting
kick.
into that flesh, cutting off a
Love the
head,
drop
seeing
kick.
the blood spurt, all that stuff is super satisfying.
Sick.
But Dying Light 2, I feel like, falls into one of those problems where it's like, okay, you have all of this cool stuff, and it is useful. That is true. But I feel like a lot of my combat encounters, like with zombies, it's just like click, 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 dead. And it's like, especially if I have mods, it's like...
No finesse to it or anything.
It's not that there's no finesse to it. It's just there are times, and I say this in the review, where it's just like just sort of mashing around will get you through the fight. Mm-hmm. Or as complicated as it gets is exactly what you were talking about, where it's like, okay, I go in for the hit.
Yep.
I wait
Dodge
for the attack.
back.
Right.
Parry.
And it's not like that back and forth is inherently bad. The problem that I have with Dying Light 2 is it's pretty much the same from the very beginning of the game to the very end. And so they don't really push themselves enough to go too far beyond that like back and forth.
It's like the variety comes from your weapons, maybe. That was what they were hoping for.
Honestly, I don't feel like the different weapon types, like I didn't feel
that in the first one either.
There's gear that's like you'll do more damage with a one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon, but in terms of like functionality,
And that's kind of disappointing.
yeah, I never was like, oh man, I really love the way like this type of weapon feels.
Like melee combat was the whole thing with this game, from what I remember.
Yeah, melee. It really.
It's kind of
leans into
disappointing that
melee.
I guess that maybe more weapons don't feel different enough. Like, I guess the feeling I'd want from it is like I'm gonna use like an axe or something because I like the way axes feel more than, let's say, a sword or a pipe. So I'm going to stick with these because I like the way the moveset is and stuff.
The guiding principle that I had is like, what do I have that does the most damage? And that was it. It wasn't like feeling between
it's more
those
about
things.
numbers.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was definitely more about numbers, which was disappointing. I think that would help a lot.
Sure, yeah.
They do make some good changes though. Like I feel like Molotovs in Dying Light 1 were like way too OP.
I don't remember.
Where you could just like throw a Molotov at a giant group and it's like, yeah, that took care of that giant group. Whereas here, I feel like it's useful. It can create some space for you, but it's not quite a win button in the same way, which I like.
Ben, one of my favorite things about swimming in sevens are interesting mechanics, interesting gimmicks, if you will. And Dying Light 1 had nighttime.
Yes.
I love nighttime in Dying Light. Tell me about it in Dying Light 2.
So it's very similar in Dying Light 2 where things are just way more intense. And like Brad can speak to this as well because we encountered this in co-op where like if it's night, it's like, okay, you will get bonus experience for doing stuff, but like there are these like washer dudes where it's so easy to trip them off and trigger a chase and have people run after you. And so nighttime, I really do feel like they make it where like if it's night, you're constantly having stuff on your ass. That's what it felt like to me.
Love that.
The other thing in Dying Light 2 that you do have to deal with that is such a cool idea, but ends up not being that big of a deal, is you have this infection meter. And if it's not daylight or you're not in UV light, it will go down. And if it goes all the way down, you die, as you experienced, right?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't know what it was.
I didn't actually have it go all the way down.
Game and I don't think I was taught that mechanic yet.
Because I think it happened to
I just
you.
didn't
I don't
know
think
what
it's
was
happened
happening.
to me where I've had to go all the way down. And so
You
I
go,
like
what?
that.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole nother layer on night, right? Where it's like, shit, like I have to use these immunity boosters or I have to use these mushrooms to keep that gauge up. And it also comes into like when you're because you explore a lot of like power stations and things like that where light isn't as accessible. It is a cool idea, but it very quickly got to a point where it's just like, I have so many items to deal with this that I just like pop the booster and it's done. And so I don't feel like it was massaged into the survival experience quite as thoroughly as I would have liked.
Nice.
I was playing on normal,
bummer.
so maybe that's part of it. But I feel like it could have been handled better. They do make a big deal about the choices in this game. And there's
I
one,
remember them hyping this up.
Yeah.
about,
Oh, yeah,
like
they
the
hyped it up.
action.
this is
yes.
So this is
Yeah,
a
that
huge
stuff really got me excited, Ben.
So there is one thing that I do think is really cool. There are certain key structures that when you get them, it's like, do you want to give this to the peacekeepers or do you want to give this to the survivors? And each of them have their own reward path. So it's like, okay, if I give this to the survivors, I will get like these jump pads or things like that, or these things that where I can like fall off a building and not take any damage. Or the peacekeepers is like, oh, you can get this kind of trap, right? And so there's just different ways that you can go. And obviously, if you really commit to one side, you're going to get further down that path. And so I think that is a good idea. I like that. Beyond that, I haven't done multiple playthroughs, so I can't like sit here and analyze every decision.
Yeah.
I can just tell you what it's like going through and making decisions and wanting to feel impactful.
500-hour game. I don't think a lot of people are going to replay it.
Yeah, well, no.
I know.
Yeah. The choices feel completely worthless.
Oh,
they really do.
that
Like,
hurts.
here, let me crystallize what I'm saying. Right. So you have a number of moments where it's like, okay, I've got to choose this person or that person. Okay. I had this group that I went against multiple times. The Peacekeepers. I went against them multiple times.
So you didn't like them?
I just I like the other people better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way to say it. It's not that the Peacekeepers don't have some interesting characters. They do.
Yeah.
But like I hate and then they get like mad at you and they're like, "What are you doing?" And then it's just like that conversation's over. I can walk right into their base. I can
No
do their
stakes,
quests.
yeah.
So dumb.
I can
Wow.
use their shopkeepers, and that is the thing that really bothers me. Is it's like it just feels artificial, even if it's not. Even if you can sit down and be like, technically there are things that are different. You're not making a convincing case for that decision that I made, and it goes beyond that as well, right? And so
Damn.
what I was hinting at earlier is like, characters really love to talk in this game, and there's a lot of lore, and that's okay, but so many times I'd be like, you had like multiple audio logs for this character, you had long conversations with this character, and then they're just gone. They're like just gone. They just don't matter. And I feel like Dying Light is trying to have all these different stories going on that like because they all just sort of like clash with each other, and there's nothing to like really grab onto. And like there was this moment where it's like, okay, they're really building up this character. I bet they're gonna die. They do die, and then it's just like they just don't matter anymore. You don't feel the reverberations of those things happening. And it's a shame because Rosario Dawson, who I really like as an actor,
Ahsoka,
yes, Claire in the Marvel Netflix stuff.
Rent.
Don't remember her in Rent, but I will take your word for it. Yeah, she's great. She's a very good actor. She has a great job here. She voices and is modeled after Lawan, who is a great character, and I think Rosario Dawson puts in a good performance for that character. But the story just like does not fucking know what to do with her. She's just kind of awkwardly pulled onto the stage and pulled off in such an unnatural way.
Damn.
And it's just like they keep trying, like they keep trying to make things gel, but they never fully come together, right?
Damn.
It's like
That's
when you're
devastating.
building Legos and you don't like quite get the piece snapped,
Yeah,
right?
game
Like,
development. This is
yeah.
insane because I'm thinking of Mafia 3, another open world game with some choices, and it's my least favorite in the series. It's got a ton of problems, but after you would take over a district, I don't know if you remember this in Mafia 3, the rackets, you decided which person you wanted to give it to. And that really mattered. You could give it to someone and this person would be pissed and then they would turn on you, or like you could make them all a little bit happy. It was like, I love when that stuff really comes together, like choices in video games, making a decision based on a character's feelings and having that pay off
Yeah.
is the best. And that's unfortunate.
Dying Light 2 just reeks of like, I can tell that Techland was so passionate about this game, and I think that's something that makes Dying Light so endearing. Like they were just so passionate about this game, and I can envision them sitting around a table and they're like, okay, we've got this big idea and we're gonna do this. Like all of this is coming from a place of love and passion. It's just I think they made the very understandable mistake of like going too big.
Yeah.
Right. I actually think in this case, if they would have scaled things back a little bit,
Scale
they
it
would have
back.
had a stronger
Yeah,
game.
like if they had quests, you know, or like you said, if you did something for the Peacekeepers, you couldn't do anything with the
Yeah.
other side, and like
Yeah.
they're your enemy now.
Just a more
That'd be sick.
But I wonder
transformative
if they're
world.
just worried about like players not wanting to replay their game, or like beating the game in 20 hours and be like, "Well, this game's short."
Yeah.
That's where we got the 500
Yeah,
hours
question,
kind
yeah.
of thing.
I want to know about this
Mm-hmm.
length and size of this game.
I mean, it took
They've-
me 27 hours to get through it.
That's it?
That's it.
500 hours.
I mean, I
5-year
certainly did
plan.
not do every side quest or anything like that. I
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
dabbled in side
Okay.
quests and stuff, but
So way smaller and shorter than an Assassin's Creed.
yes, but I don't personally think Assassin's Creed length is to its benefit.
No.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah.
Because that, like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Because, like, Dying Light, they were, like, hyping up how long it is, how big it is. But it's like, all right, that doesn't seem too big. But then it also does feel like it's too much going on.
It's not that it's too
Too
long.
Okay.
I don't think length is an issue here, or
Okay.
that it's too short. I don't necessarily think either of those things are true. The length isn't the issue. It is the structure and the flow.
Okay. Because Assassin's Creed is, like, Valhalla literally took me, like, 100 hours. And it's just, like, too much stuff is the
Yeah.
problem. But this doesn't seem like it has too much stuff.
Let me put it this way,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like you get the sense that it's like, okay, you're trying to make every single person important. I think it would be better if you like
Focused on a
That makes
few.
sense.
like
Yeah.
did not go as hard on so many characters,
Okay.
and you really built up some others. You know, it's
Yeah.
like they're just they have like this much space, and the mailbox is overflowing. Yeah,
Great, great.
right. And so it's
I
it's like
clearly understand now.
Yeah. And there was a comment on the review where they were like, "Oh, an open world game lacks focus. Imagine that." And I think they were being condescending.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that I think both of those things you can focus on something and be big and open, right? I actually think, and I will talk about it, Pokemon Legends Arceus, not that they're exactly similar, but Pokemon is a broad, open, very flexible game. I think the story in that is very strong.
Yeah.
And I think they handle it super well. A key difference between Dying Light 2 and Pokemon is like Pokemon will have these like cute little side quests, and it'll give a little bit of context, but they don't last that long.
Yeah.
Like they kind of get to the point, and they make sure that you have plenty of room to enjoy and soak in the world. Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I feel like that exact reason is why Rockstar is the best in the biz, because they do have focus for how big and sprawling their games are. Like GTA 5 campaign, massive, pretty damn focused. Pretty damn focused game.
I also just think, in general, the writing for Rockstar is just so much better. Like, there are moments with Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 that are much better than many things.
Yeah, that too, dude. Wow, the power of just having the lead, you know?
Yeah.
Arthur Morgan himself makes even the most mundane task so important, so meaningful.
Well,
because of how he is responding to even the smallest things.
Think about
and that makes everything more focused.
Think about the progression in Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like when you move to a new camp, you really feel it, right? Or something happens to your crew, like your entire base is different, right? And people are reacting to the relationships that are going on in that whole dynamic, right? Whereas, like I said in Dying Light 2, it's like, okay, I really pissed you off. Welcome back. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
There's, you know,
so weird.
Yes. And whereas,
Yelling at you 1 minute now they're your best friend again.
Yeah.
right, like
Yeah.
in Red Dead, I don't want to get spoilery, even though it's been a while for Red Dead Redemption 2. But there are things that happen to that character that you see progress to an end point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell of a story, that game.
Very good story.
Yeah.
Gameplay could use a little work.
Yes.
Hell of a story.
Yes.
Sure.
Shit.
Well, Dying Light 2, Ben, they said there's a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the future?
Absolutely. I
Okay.
still got it installed.
Okay. There you
I
go.
want to play the Dying Light 2 DLC.
Okay,
Like
sick.
I said, like all of this criticism that I have, it's also coming from a place of love. Like there's something about Dying Light that has really resonated with me.
Hell yeah.
And like I am okay with it being flawed because it's like
The first one was so flawed for a while until Enhanced Edition.
like Techland made the most endearing mistakes here, where it's like they just tried really hard and it didn't work out. You know?
Yeah, that too is like having their back, because like the first Dying Light had a year of problems until Enhanced, and then they just kept chipping away. They supported that game for so long. Like that weird fantasy DLC came out a couple years ago. Like
I was just going through the Falling Before Dying Light 2 because I wanted to experience that before Dying Light 2, and like they were having events for Dying Light, right? Like,
it's crazy.
yeah, so I like it is so obvious that they really have a lot of love for Dying Light, and I at the very least, like I'm interested to see how it evolves.
Cool.
Sick. I'll get to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure you will.
same.
Just waiting a little bit.
Fair.
Elden Ring's on the horizon.
Yeah.
So.
All right, it is time for the sizzle. I love that you guys do that. All right, just breaking up the game discussion here a little bit. Superheroes have been on my mind a lot, and there are a number of superhero films coming out. The DC actually,
just a number?
Just a few?
Just a few?
actually like not. I don't know.
When
maybe
you count shows, it's insane.
Okay, I'm not counting
Yeah,
shows.
just movies,
Well,
sure.
I mean, whatever. Fuck it. I don't care. You can count shows if you want. But let's see if I can name all of them, because we've got
Batman.
The Batman.
got Batman,
We
we've
got
got-
Aquaman 2.
we got Aquaman 2,
We got Black
Flash,
Adam.
we got Black Adam,
DC's going hard.
we got Multiverse of Madness,
We got Thor.
we
Is
got
that this
Thor:
year,
Love and
Thor?
Thunder, yep.
And Multiverse. And there was one other in there, I feel like, for MCU.
Did you guys just name like 6 movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1 year?
Oh,
Yeah.
Morbius.
Morbius.
The game, one
Throw
that's
that in there.
constantly delayed.
Morbius.
Dude,
Um,
and not counting all the shows?
All the shows. This is DC and Marvel
I
and
know, but
Sony.
it's crazy. It's just a lot.
is
yeah.
there a DC one that I'm forgetting?
I'm going to count The Boys in there. I feel like The Boys is coming out this year, another season. That counts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with shows, it's like you've got
Yeah.
Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
Damn.
Yeah. Batgirl, I think, is this year.
Girl. All the CW shit. Like, who even knows what's going on there?
Yeah, so there's a lot
That's
of
a
stuff.
One Piece situation.
What do you think will be the worst superhero movie of 2022?
Morbius. It's not even no
Is
hesitation.
that the
Jared
vampire
Leto.
one?
No hesitation, no question. It is the easiest. It's not even a discussion.
Sorry. What
Next
else was
question.
coming out? Black Adam.
I think Black Adam's going to be good. I
The
really
Rock.
believe it.
Aquaman.
I don't think
Shazam
The
is
Rock
fucking
makes
awesome.
stinkers. Shazam is sick.
Yeah.
Shazam is sick.
Well, what's cool about Black Adam is I don't want to spoil it for anybody who doesn't want to know, but they're introducing other things in Black Adam.
Yeah, I guess Morbius seemed like the least appealing to me, I guess. I don't know. I'm not
I
a
think-
superhero person at all, but
I think Morbius is the obvious pick, and
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but let me throw this at you.
okay.
So there's rumors
Okay.
that The Flash is going to erase the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Oh, because Keaton is there.
Keaton
we
is
know.
there.
We know this.
And
Yeah.
potentially Ben
definitely.
Affleck as well.
I'm not saying the Flash is going to be bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not convinced that it's going to be bad.
You're
I'm
concerned.
I'm just worried that
They want to reboot everything.
they just want to reboot it, and it'll just be like tiring and forced.
Yeah.
Not saying that's going to happen. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they botched it from the beginning. We know this, and they're still in kind of that rut from trying to do the Avengers after like 2 or 3 movies, and they didn't lay the groundwork properly.
No, they didn't.
The foundation was so flawed, and it's been feeling the effects ever since.
But what is so frustrating is like, okay, so the Batman's coming out has nothing to do with
Thank
past
God.
continuity.
So liberating.
Well,
My
yes,
God.
and it looks awesome.
Yeah.
It looks
For
awesome.
now, yeah.
But I think what's so infuriating is like they have that, and it's like that's a clean break. But then also we're continuing the story in these other things that are connected. Like,
Well, there's like
There
3
was gonna
DC
be-
timelines. or
Yeah,
3 or
and there
4.
was going to be the Gotham City PD show from the Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter on HBO. This was supposed to be a spin-off to The Batman.
oh my god,
He bounced out. It's supposed to be on HBO Max. I think it's still moving forward, but there's going to be a straight-up GCPD show within Pattinson's thing.
So like Gotham.
It's just
Gotham, but like rated R.
it's just that it sucks when you are like, okay, we're really going to develop this thing, and then it's just like, okay, now we're going to throw it in the trash. And like, I get it. I get that the ECU has been messy, but it's like, man, like Henry Cavill's a really good
Henry
Superman,
Cavill, and
I feel like he's never gotten a chance
never
to
gotten
really.
even Ben Affleck too. Like he's not my favorite Batman, but like
Yeah.
he still never got his like time to shine.
It just
his standalone
his
movie.
standalone.
it just feels like there is opportunity that is being missed.
Yeah.
Right.
they botched.
I think
it.
there's more to do with Wonder
It's
Woman.
been messy.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman 2. Did you ever see that?
Oh, I did.
Oh
Wonder
my
Woman
God.
2. I no hyperbole.
Oh my God.
Wonder Woman 84 was one of the most painful viewing experiences, and I
Pedro
I was going
Pascal
in
was
hyped.
unintentionally hilarious though.
Unintentionally hilarious.
I
Yes.
was
I'm not
laughing.
mad at Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal.
yeah.
That movie
Yeah.
is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it was
I was
rough.
like no. To this day, I will just go to my wife and I'll be like, "How is it that bad?"
Wasn't that bad?
Oh my god, it was a nightmare, dude. But like,
It's wild.
this is why I'm so fucking frustrated. Is because I really like Suicide Squad,
The Suicide Squad.
the Suicide
Yeah,
Squad,
of course.
James Gunn.
Yes.
As we will get into it, love with my entire being Peacemaker. I really like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. It's just like
yeah.
there's all these things that I feel like are
Birds
really
of
good.
Prey.
I like Birds of Prey. I'm not gonna like sit here and say it's the greatest thing ever, but I liked it. Sure.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I was all right on it.
I liked it.
I didn't hate it.
I only saw it once.
Yeah,
I liked it. But yeah, that's right. It's just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
All these things just feel really disparate. It feels like no one's running the show, but there's great talent. I think James Gunn is crushing it. He's crushing it.
The timeline is almost as spotty as the X-Men timeline. Like
Oh,
it
God.
makes no sense. It's so bad, dude.
Yeah,
They
but
just messed it up so hard. But here's
at
the
least
thing.
we know that is going to be salvaged.
Here's the thing with
Or
Peacemaker, though,
presumably. Go ahead.
is I think I'm enjoying it even more than like I should, because even though it's
Let's
like
be careful because we're going to have a whole conversation
yeah.
about
I'm
this.
not no spoilers, but even because even though it's a Suicide Squad spin-off, it feels so disconnected from everything.
Well,
And it's so liberating just watching this and like not fucking thinking about how everything connects. Like I'm 15 years deep on the MCU and I'm finally just like tired of how is this going to connect? How is this going to set up this and this and that? And it's like I'm not even watching it anymore. I'm just like waiting for the thing to connect.
so here's the thing.
And like Peacemaker has not avoided that.
Let me throw this at you.
Yeah.
I love when things connect. I think it's great. It should never come at the expense of the story and the characters,
I feel
right?
like it has started to with the shows.
With Spider-Man, like obviously it connected in a bunch of crazy ways, but I still think there was a really emotionally resonant story at the core of it.
Hell yeah.
And Peacemaker is so awesome because it focuses on this core group of characters,
Yes.
develops all of them, makes all of them interesting,
Yes.
right? And so you're like, I am here because I love them.
Yeah.
If it connects, cool, but
Yeah.
at least I have this, right?
Yep.
And the thing is like the way it ties into the Suicide Squad very well, but it's like once you get a few episodes in, you're like, I just love these people.
Yeah.
I just love these people.
Yeah.
We will get into it. Morbius is probably the right answer. This sizzle.
It's been delayed 5 times.
I only care about Batman.
Yeah.
The Batman.
Tickets went
only
on
care
sale
about the
February
Batman.
10th. I bought that shit that day. I am so fucking excited. I cannot wait.
Yo, say what you will about Dark Knight Rises, but it was the last superhero movie that had an ending. Think about that. Think about that. These don't end anymore. It's just an endless ride. There's no stakes. It just goes and goes and goes forever and ever and ever and ever. It just goes. Dark Knight Rises, dude, ends. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to Nolan's trilogy. And it feels good. And I miss that. That's why Endgame will always be my number 1 MCU movie.
That's the thing.
Because it's the end.
I think that's why I'm a little bit hesitant to jump in on that because, like, yeah, I agree with you that things should have an ending, but I think the MCU's done a good job. Like, Endgame is an ending.
Yeah, yes.
And then it moves on.
Now we're
And I
going to
think
go
it's-
for 10 more years and then have another ending.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
it. It's so weird, Huber, because, like, I think, like, in the earlier days of Easy Allies, I was feeling the way about the MCU that you do now, and I feel like our roles have reversed. It's so
Pilot
fascinating.
too, yeah. Ellis said that same thing on Reaction Shots.
Yeah.
It's the shows. The shows have been so disappointing. And just like factory machine. It's like a checklist. It's how I feel about like boring open world games. It's just like I'm not even like I'm just like on to the next, go, checklist, get through this. How does it connect?
I wonder if part of it, like, no, I genuinely do
And
enjoy the
action
shows.
the action has been so disappointing. Like
Other
so
than-
poor.
Other than being disappointed by the last episode of Hawkeye, I did really like Hawkeye. I think the other thing is it's like I love horror, but like my wife hates horror, so I indulge in it alone. Whereas like she is right there with the superhero stuff.
Nice.
So like of course that's gonna make you like it even more.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that. But I've also been way into comics, like way into comics,
Hell
so
yeah.
that's helped. I don't know.
definitely helps.
It's just a joy in my life right now, but I get where
Enjoy
you're
it.
coming from.
I get where you're coming from. Enjoy it. I'll be back.
You'll be
It's just it's like wrestling. It's the same
Sure.
shit. It's the same concept. Anime, wrestling,
Yeah.
it goes forever.
Yeah.
You just got to get off the ride every once in a while
do.
to
You do.
refresh yourself.
You absolutely
I'm
do.
off the ride right now.
Yeah,
And
you
I'll-
absolutely do.
I'll probably get back in line soon.
Yeah.
Mobius.
And the thing is that I've learned is life is such a fucking mess that like if you are enjoying the ride you're on, cherish it.
Cherish the
Yeah,
ride.
that's true.
Yep.
I cherish rides that aren't even that good sometimes.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
You got to.
Couple
Life is a
Boba Fett
fucking
episodes,
mess.
dude. I
Yeah.
was cherishing the ride.
We'll get there. All right. This you guys are so wonderful in this show. This was brought to you by some wonderful shout out tier patrons. I thought it'd be fun if you guys did your best Pokemon shout out once I get done with the names. So think about it while I
Okay.
read. Thank you to Elthanas, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb Togi Crawford, and I had this written down, but it's not appearing in the document. 1 second. Raymond Wheeler III.
Good name.
Shout out.
Pikachu.
Shout out. That's right.
Meowth is a good.
He's
is a
like the
good-
one that talks, right?
Has Meowth ever been in a video game?
I mean, there's
He's
been
in red, right?
Meowths. I don't
Oh,
know.
Meowth is all over the
not
place.
the Team
Not
Rocket
the
Meowth.
Meowth.
Oh, not well.
Or has there? I don't know.
I mean, well, the thing about Pokemon Yellow is
it's the
Yellow.
anime, right?
it introduces like Jesse and James into Team Rocket, and so Meowth might be in there.
I
It's
had
been a
Yellow.
long time. Yellow's
I have
great.
Yellow, too.
Loved
I
Yellow.
have 2
Yellow's
copies.
very
I
cool.
I played red a bit, but then yellow was the one where
Yellow's
I
where
really
Yellow's
went.
where I got. I
jolly.
was out.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay,
out.
yellow was
because I
in.
played red,
Got it.
and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was red, blue, and then yellow.
Yeah,
Yellow was a year later, maybe 2
Maybe.
years.
It was
maybe a little too soon
I don't
for me.
remember.
Got
It's
it.
been a while.
too soon for me.
The cover of Yellow is so sick. It's like Pikachu with
Dude,
little sparks.
The
dude.
old art of those is so good. Like blue and yellow and red. The art is so good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I was thinking about it playing, because there's always a part of me that wants to be playing Pokemon, and I was like, man, I would really love if the Switch came out with like Game Boy Color and it just fucking had all of them on
That's
there.
like me
I
with
would love that.
everything on Nintendo. Man, sure would be sick if they did this.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Thank you to the shout out tiers. We are going to do something that we don't normally do that I know some people like. Some people probably don't, and that's okay. We're going to talk about 2 shows back to back. We've kind of already revealed our hand, but let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Unfortunately, I'm going to be neutering the conversation a bit because I have not yet seen the last episode. Going to see the last episode this weekend. These 2 gentlemen have.
You're lucky, dude. It hasn't been 72 hours. I have a new spoiler mandate.
72 hours?
3 days.
If
I'd be really upset if you
Yep.
spoiled it.
For TV shows,
Well, this
Yeah.
ain't spoiler mode.
here's the new. This is a mandate.
Yeah.
I'm never going back on this. TV episodes when they release, 72 hours till you can spoil it.
If
72 hours.
okay.
For movies.
But we're friends if I say like don't
Yeah,
do this.
of course. I mean, just out in the
threat, dude.
out in no
threat.
out in the world. Like, hey, I'm talking about this now.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
72
sure.
hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Movies.
Dude, I'm not on Twitter. You can say whatever
Yeah.
the fuck you want. I don't care.
Movies in theaters only. You cannot spoil if it's only in a theater. Ever. You cannot spoil it. You can spoil it. A movie. 3 weeks after home release.
Dude, I gotta write this shit down.
So 3 weeks from a home release movie.
That's like way more lenient than anyone else's.
Yeah.
These weird rules you
Yep.
make for
Yep.
yourself.
Yeah.
that no
well, Isla
one
and I came up with
will
it together. Yep.
That won't last.
72 hours.
So with the 2 shows that we're going to talk about, obviously we're not going to like go like full hog into spoilers,
Right,
but
we're not going to go plot detail.
we
by
are
detail.
talking about a show that is focused on story. So if you don't want to hear this conversation, or you're worried about any potential spoilers, that very well could happen. There are timestamps in the description. You can come back to this later. Don't get mad. There's no reason to. You have every out. All right, let's talk about Book of Boba Fett. I have very conflicting thoughts.
So
Well,
divisive.
that's the show.
That's
Yeah.
the Star Wars way, though.
That's true.
Until okay, let me
That's true.
throw it to you this way. Until episode 5, the reason why, like, we just watched episode 5 and 6 last night because my wife and I are like, we'd rather watch other stuff. Like Boba's fine, but we just don't feel enchanted with it. It just was
After episode 4 was like the low point.
it just seemed it was just like it was a show that was okay. And I kept coming back to this with my wife where I was like, I think Boba Fett is fine and I think Fennec Shand is fine. It's just they're very similar personality types. They don't really have like people to bounce off of or challenge them. And I think that's what partly why Mandalorian was so good is Mando is this very stoic character, but the people that he interacted with were very different
Yeah.
in terms of his like credo. And I just don't feel like Boba has enough people challenging him or
Yeah.
pull. The best parts of Boba were when he was with the Tusken Raiders.
Of course.
Yes. Well, it's like you got three bounty hunters essentially and assassins, so they're all kind of
Yes,
similar.
They're
yes.
all very similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the pacing was a little messed up with the flashbacks. 4 episodes in a row of flashbacks. It really started to wear out its
Yeah.
welcome.
It just seemed unnecessary.
Yeah, but before the show even started, I was telling Brad, this is what I want. Like, literally, my favorite thing in Star Wars is not the Sith or Jedi. It's the Hutts, Tusken Raiders, and bounty hunters. The show has all of them.
Yeah.
So just like in the door entry level, I'm stoked, having
Yeah.
a good time. But obviously, I do have problems with the show. I feel like
Yeah.
they did rely a little too much on the flashbacks, or just too many of those.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really liked seeing some of the I'm a very big Star Wars fan, so it was really cool to see some of the cultures of like things that we haven't seen a ton about before and getting a new perspective on things. And like to me, just seeing stories like Boba Fett that people have been speculating about and talking about for years actually finally being canon and like they're
Got out of
finally
the
doing
Sarlacc,
it, like
you
finally
know?
getting it. Like
Yeah.
I've been hearing about Sarlacc pits since I was like elementary school.
Yeah.
So it's like cool, we're finally seeing it. It's cool to see this kind of thing. And Boba Fett to me was always a underutilized character throughout the thing. He got popular because he looked cool, and like that's not a problem. I thought he sick because he just looked cool. But to me, I really hated I really hated in episode 2 when they're like, Boba Fett's a clone. He's a clone of his dad. I was like, this fucking sucks. I hate this. But
Wait, what?
yeah, I hated that.
What did happen?
That Boba Fett's a clone.
Of Jango Fett.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hated that.
Oh, in episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Yes,
I thought
yeah.
episode 2 of Boba Fett. I was like, wait, what's happening?
I hated that.
Okay,
I hated that he was a clone and not
Yeah.
just some random dude that was a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it now. I liked the guy that plays Boba Fett. I liked his portrayal of Boba Fett.
What was his name? Tamura Morris.
Yes, I always forget his name.
Yeah,
But
it's okay,
like,
it's okay.
I like him. I'm like, cool.
Aussie.
Like, this has made me like
Or New
Boba
Zealand.
Fett more than I did before.
So, kind of bouncing off what both of you are saying, I think the Tusken Raiders stuff was the most effective because Tusken Raiders, in a lot of, core Star Wars media, I feel like don't really get super developed. They're just kind of sideline characters, and so it was neat being like, okay, this is what their culture is actually like, and really getting embedded into it and learning about it, and having him form an emotional connection with them was awesome. I was excited for that to happen after episode 1, where I'm like, oh, like it's kind of cool that Boba is going to be like kind of this crime lord. How does this underworld really work? And it's been like super frustrating because there are so many moments where Fennec is like, hey, we should do it this way. And Boba's like, no, I'm not going to do it that way.
Yeah.
And it just feels like weirdly oversimplified. Like there's not a lot going on. Like he meets with the crime lords and it's just like, I guess we'll just stay out of your way. Like these situations that he gets involved in, right? Like you think about like crime and the seedy underbelly and all of the things that could happen. And every resolution just feels like kind of boring and like not really believable or very grounded. It just kind of happens. And so that has been frustrating. And it's just like, I feel like Boba is just like, I'm just going to do it this way. And then it's like, okay, you're the boss. And then they just do it that way. You know, it's,
I do like that though, because he is Boba Fett and he's like immortal, dude. This guy is like been around the galaxy, taking people out.
but even
So it
that
feels
is
like he's-
undermined
For sure.
because if they wanted to go that way and they wanted to like build up the mythos
Yeah.
of Boba Fett, you wouldn't have all of these scenes. Like they literally go up
Yeah.
to him and they're like, yeah, no one respects you. And you're not going to get a meeting with the mayor. He's not going to do it. Like, I feel like it's weird where Boba kind of acts like he's the shit.
Yeah.
But the world
Nobody
around
cares
him,
about him.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
doesn't really,
Only
like-
Yeah.
bounty hunters know that
Yeah.
his past and like his reputation. You get some random crime dude on Tatooine. They're like, I've heard about you. I guess. Like I don't know anything about you though.
It's just.
And maybe the lack of the Empire too, because he was working for Vader and shit.
Yeah,
when
sure,
they
yeah.
went down, his cachet kind of diminished as well.
I think there's just this like weird inconsistency where like Boba and the world around him is not being presented in a consistent way. So to make a comparison to that, I feel like in The Mandalorian, right? So throughout Mando's journey, he kind of builds up this repertoire with a small group of people. And by the time they trust him or believe in him, you're like, okay, like these people have been through something together. It makes sense that they're relying each other on this way. I feel like they have a connection. Whereas like in Boba Fett, like sometimes that authority isn't there, that convincingness isn't there, where like Boba Fett to the Wookiee is just like, trust me, you don't want to work for these bozos. And it's just like, I get what they're trying to go for, and I think there's good stuff there. It's just not always as convincing as I want it to be.
Yeah, in the case of the Wookiee, Boba Fett and the Wookiee know each other already.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of this show is like will make more sense if you read comics
Yeah,
and watch
shout out.
the animated shows. Like Cad Bane and all that stuff. Like I'm sure
Payoffs.
Yeah.
Years in the making.
but
Shout
like-
out. I'm
If
glad
I didn't
they did
have
that.
experience with Clone Wars,
I'm glad they
yes,
did that.
Cad Bane wouldn't be as cool.
But
Ahsoka
yes,
wouldn't be as cool.
I don't think things were done as well as they should have been.
Yeah.
I still have a few problems. But to me, that's just Star Wars, man.
I
Well,
like that
hold
they,
on, because sorry, go ahead.
I like that they took a swing. I do not like it at all. I think it's horrendous. Speaking of the 100, Shaw from the 100 is one of them. The mods.
Oh yeah, the mods.
I was going to
are
bring up the
bad.
mods.
The mods
and
are so
it's the
bad.
girl from Yellow Jackets. It's like two actors I really like from other properties, and they were
The
it's
mods.
so bad. I respect like, hey, let's like no, a lot of people hate Star Wars and love it. It's so divisive. Let's start trying
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
They
No
tried
problem.
it. They fell on their face.
The mods do nothing. They are blank slates. They hardly say anything. Like they just kind of
There's like two of them that talk.
I hate this in anything where you go through that thought exercise where it's like, I could remove you from the show entirely, and I do not think this would be a worse show at all.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
They felt like
it felt like planting the seed for another spin-off. Like, okay, we're gonna get a freaking mod spin-off.
There were prequel characters in there. They didn't belong there. They didn't look like they belonged on Tatooine or in that universe at all.
They did not blend at all.
They looked like they were from that Dexter Jet Set idiot from Episode 2's diner. Like they hang out there. It's like go back to American Graffiti or whatever the hell this tribute was. Like, nah, man, it didn't work.
But here's where the flip side comes from me, and I haven't watched episode 7 yet, but episode 5 and 6, my wife and I both said to each other, this is the most this is where big spoilers are coming in. This is the most captivating the show has been to I went from being mildly disinterested in the show to being utterly captivated because it just becomes the Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, where's Boba?
Boba Fett gets completely sidelined.
Yeah.
Immediately,
Yeah.
Mando is using the dark saber.
Yeah.
He's interacting with the armorer in a cool way. He's showing the way that he gets emotional about Grogu, I'm like, this is the most captivating shit I've seen. Meeting Ahsoka again, the conflict that she's having with Luke on whether or not to train Grogu, Grogu's emotional attachment with what's going on. It's like,
Good shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's
great.
amazing.
Yeah, Mando's just a better character than Boba Fett, without a doubt. He's
feel
handled
like,
much better. Yes.
I feel like they know what they're doing with Mando. Like there's a confidence there.
Yeah, I don't want to say maybe there shouldn't have been the Book of Boba Fett because I'm really glad it exists and I really, really, really liked it in the end. But maybe Boba Fett should have just had like 2 episodes or 1 episode, like a side episode in the Mando next season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm curious how you'll feel about it when you're done.
They just it feels like they stretched.
Yeah, it feels like it didn't need to be as long as it was.
Yeah, like they stretched it out.
And maybe knowing him from the Clone Wars is coloring my perception a little bit, but Cad Bane 10. and him coming in and
10.
not saying his name and the way he tilted his hat up and you saw his eyes, I'm like, you are way more interesting and threatening than the fucking Pike Syndicate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we need to deal with the Pike Syndicate. I'm just thinking to myself, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they've always been just like a kind of organization in the background. They've been around doing like the same shit. Clone Wars and Solo, they were there. And they're here. Like them dealing with spice is a very common thing for them. But yes, they are just like a weird generic organization.
Whereas like Moff Gideon, I feel like at least had a presence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
These guys, like, you couldn't tell them from apart based off anything.
Yeah.
Not their personality, how they look, nothing really about
It's just
them.
like they're running drugs and that's bad.
Yes.
You know, like it pretty much amounts to that.
My hope is that we get an animatronic flashback of Jabba the Hutt in the Obi-Wan show. That's all I want. Just give me Jabba.
I mean, he's alive at the point.
Somehow, some way, give me Jabba the Hutt. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, ha, ha.
I am really excited for Obi-Wan.
You got him in episode 1. So
Hell
maybe.
yeah.
The other thing that I want to say,
Love it.
and I knew this from Mandalorian,
I hope
but
Obi-Wan pod races.
I cannot give Pedro Pascal enough credit for the way that he handles this character.
Joel Miller.
I think it is really...
It's going to be fucking Joel, baby.
Oh, in Last of Us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you threw me for a loop there.
So hyped.
The way that he plays Mando is so difficult because to be so emotionally detached and so monotone, but have that stuff creep in and still be compelling, I think just on a performance level is extremely difficult to do, and he crushes it. He is
really care.
so good.
I wonder how much he's actually in the suit.
Way more nowadays, he said. Season 1 was like nothing, but then the show became like the biggest
So
thing
he's doing
ever.
it more?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Season 2, it was like a thing. He's like, I'm going to be on set a lot more.
It should be.
He manages to strike that balance between like badass with a heart in a way that is just delicious.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm bummed that I don't know her, but the woman who plays the armor is also fantastic.
It's Emily Swallow. She was in the scene in The Last of Us. Remember the very first scene when they're hanging Abby in the woods?
Yes.
And she like cuts Abby and like
Okay.
tells the people to go look for intruders and
Okay.
has the gun and gets taken
That's
out right
her.
away. That's her.
Okay, she does a very good job.
You know, with Boba Fett comes with a lot of baggage and
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
expectations. And I think with Mandalorian is it didn't come with any really.
Yeah.
No one knew who this character was, just a new character. Like,
And
he's got a Boba Fett kind of helmet.
Mando
Admittedly,
season
I think
one
Boba Fett is a
before-
difficult character to work with.
Was Mando season 1 before or after episode 9?
What?
It's
Episode,
way
you mean
before.
episode 6?
No, Star Wars episode 9.
It's way
It's
before.
way before, yeah.
No, I mean release.
Oh, it was like
season
a,
1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a year or so, or in
Had
the
we
year?
seen
I
episode
think it was like a
9?
year.
I think it was.
after. Or was it before?
I don't remember.
Okay,
don't
because
remember
either
now.
way, post episode 9, expectations are lower for everyone
Okay,
across the board.
I said this last night
so low
when we were watching episode
expectations.
5 and 6, and I
Yeah.
believe this. I think what they are doing with the Mandalorian post episode 6, like, bro, just decanonize episodes 7, 8, 9.
They can.
I think what the framework
can.
that they're working with here
So much
is
better.
much better.
Yeah.
If
They're-
they have to try to justify this stupid Palpatine shit, Lord help me. Like, I think they could take
You need
Luke's
to watch.
Jedi Academy
Oh my god.
in a much better episode 7?
No. In reaction shots, Isla I had the most insane idea for a Palpatine resurrection show.
Oh.
Here's the thing, though, Ben.
Insane ideas. Please watch.
Here's the thing. I hate the prequels. The Clone Wars show and those shows made that era better for me.
Absolutely, they
So
do.
they could do the same treatment for the new
Why do you
trilogy.
always gotta like stab
Because-
me in the chest when you talk shit on Phantom
Dude.
Menace? Please just like
Oh.
do it in the other room or
No,
something.
just
It's
fucking
not that-
deal with it.
come on.
I don't know who to originally quote this.
Phantom Menace.
I'm
quote
talking
this-
to Ben about a point, and I'm trying to elaborate my point. If you can't take it, get the fuck out of here.
can't take it.
The prequels have really good world building and lore. It's
Yes.
just the actual
everything
plot
else
and
sucks.
writing is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead.
That's
continue.
just what I
Okay,
meant.
yeah.
Is like we have these gaps and these holes in the sequel trilogy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That need to be filled and can be filled and make further events better on.
I think that's true. I'd be curious to see a Clone Wars 4.
Like
the
if they are
sequel.
teasing some shit with like Luke dealing with Palpatine, like searching for Palpatine or hearing rumors about Palpatine, something like that to actually build it up so it makes more sense when it happens instead of it just a snap of the finger, he's back apparently.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something that actually builds to it.
The dead speak.
I
Yes.
worry about that stuff because like it gives the MCU ways to just like course correct everything. Like everyone was like the whole like Thor Endgame or the Thor 2 thing where everyone's like, Thor 2 is important now and it's good because it's an Endgame. It's actually important, so you got to watch that more. Like,
Yeah, but it makes something at least better.
Huber,
Yeah.
I think you are listening to the most
Yeah.
annoying people. I know.
I think so, too.
I would say a strength of the MCU is that like it doesn't need a lot of course correcting.
but like
more
retro
consistent.
actively
Definitely.
going back, I guess.
You're not erasing the movies,
Yeah.
you're just filling in gaps. Star Wars has been doing that forever.
Yeah, I guess I get so annoyed too.
That's what
with,
the
like,
prequels are.
I guess I get annoyed with the Clone Wars show because it's like, why
Here's the thing about
was
Clone Wars.
why
I'm
was
not even-
Ahsoka
I haven't
never
even
mentioned
finished.
ever in Revenge of the Sith?
Okay, so
tell me
that-
why.
Okay, so that
Tell me why right now,
does
please.
annoy me. That does annoy me. But
Yeah.
but it gets back to that point that we made where it's like, yes, you can get caught up in all that stuff, but it's like you end up loving the Clone Wars just because the characters
Hell
and stories
yeah.
are awesome.
Good.
And it's
like,
because-
like, that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all that
It's
matters.
it's the answer, just like the prequels. Not everything was written out. The
Yeah.
prequels were not written and done when 4, 5, and 6 came out. George
No doubt.
Lucas went back further on and fleshed out that shit. That's why.
I swear to God, though, Clone Wars is such a weird show because like it takes a while before you
Yes.
love it.
Yes, it
Uh,
does.
It gets better over time.
For sure.
But the Clone Wars is so good that you're like, yeah, the prequels are pretty good. Like it does that magic.
It makes that timeline
Yes.
better for
yeah,
me.
it absolutely does.
And there's a
Like,
reason why Ahsoka's not around. Is the best they did it as best they could.
Yeah,
There's a reason.
I'm excited to get to that. I really need to finish Clone Wars and
it's
and
like
do
not
Rise.
the most satisfying thing, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Here's the weird thing about Star Wars for me though, and it's the same thing with the MCU. Like, and this is probably a personal failing, but like, if I watch something and I'm like, oh, this is a mess, right? Where it's like, in the moment, I really enjoyed Rise of Skywalker, but it was one of those things where
When
it
you
felt
think
a
about it
little
more.
hollow.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Shit.
I watched Mandalorian and I played Jedi Fallen Order. I'm like, oh my God, I'm loving Star Wars. I'm obsessed with it. Then I watched the first few episodes of Boba Fett. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, if I see a few like right now, I'm really obsessed, but it's like the quality has to be there. And I feel like that's kind of why I get mad about DCEU being a mess. It's like, if you're going to do these things and you're going to make me invest so much, you have to be there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you feel like you're investing into nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
The actions really just let me down.
Like,
in the MCU. Like that's why. Shout out to Boba Fett, dude. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like those fight scenes are sick.
They're
I really
Yeah,
like.
I
them.
know you
thought-
like 'em,
I
but-
thought the train heist was
There's
better.
Train heist was good.
The
There's some
train
good
heist was
stuff.
better than anything in the MCU shows. Anything.
I think
Like fucking Winter Soldier fights were pretty good.
I think the car chase in Hawkeye was really well shot.
Car chase was great.
It was really well
Car
shot.
chase was great. Up there, yeah.
Yeah,
Up there.
I just don't think
that train heist.
Star Wars always
The
has.
train heist was sick.
I don't
No
think
doubt
it
about
ever has the best choreography. There's some cool moments, but there's some dumb shit where I'm like, I don't know. Like
That-
even Mandalorian has a lot of that shit where I'm like,
The
why?
bike chase is horrid. in
It's
Boba
it's
Fett.
really bad.
It's really bad.
It's really
the
bad.
mod
Oh my god!
It's
yeah.
really bad.
It's really
terrible.
bad. It's
the
like
point where you're like,
Loki
how did this
fight-
happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
bad.
Like what? Who thought? Yeah, I don't know. It was a very questionable decision.
Robert Rodriguez
Brad,
directed that.
I feel your passion, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so funny to me like hearing people like just like opinions about Star Wars, and it's like, man, Star Wars has been like this for a
Forever.
long.
Yeah,
like people are
forever.
acting
Not
like
forever,
this is
but for a long
new,
time.
Forever.
like division in the fan base. It's like,
Say
where
hello
are
to
you
Jar Jar
fucking been?
Binks.
Listen, Episode 6 was directed by Dave Filoni, and it was like, I didn't know that until I saw the credit, and I was like, I can tell. Like, please, dear fucking God, just let Dave Filoni
Not involved in
and
Obi-Wan
John,
whatsoever.
let's just let Dave Filoni and John Favreau
Well,
like
yeah,
steer
because
this
Dave
shit.
Filoni's Lucas's guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, he just fucking
He gets
it.
He gets it.
Give him the oversight. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
They just need somebody
Feige
needs
him.
to steer the Star Wars
Feige
ship.
him.
They just yes.
He's, I would say, the most qualified. Maybe not necessarily in like dialogue all the time or something like that, but he knows where the series should go and what
Yes.
works more.
Yes.
And he's proven it to me with Clone Wars and Rebels every time.
It is crazy that we just had a show on Tatooine, and the next show is also
I was
on
thinking
Tatooine.
that. I was thinking that because like I love Tatooine, but I think part of the reason Mandalorian was so effective is the planet hopping
Yeah.
nature of it. Yeah.
Mass Effect.
I don't even feel like Boba Fett is using Tatooine all that well. The Raider stuff was good. The train heist was fantastic.
Love that train heist.
Very, very good. That train heist
It
was
was cool
excellent.
to see like some more of the town stuff, but I see what you mean. Definitely. I mean, Tatooine's on a lot.
It's like the
Also-
biggest and the smallest thing ever is Star Wars. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's so huge and sprawling, and also so small.
You know what's crazy about Star Wars is it is like the easiest thing to fall in and out of love with. It really is.
Oh yeah, I fell in love with Star Wars for a long time.
Yeah.
You just got off the ride, dude. You got back in line.
Oh, I understood what the ride was
Yeah.
and what the ride was giving me.
Yeah.
I understood. I had expectations now.
Whoever made it so that when Grogu and Luke are walking, that he uses the Force to bring him along.
Yeah.
That person deserves a fucking
Well,
raise.
it's like the Force stuff is like my favorite stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like in Empire Strikes Back with Luke and Yoda, like training is like my favorite thing in Star Wars
Hell yeah.
ever.
The Dagobah, fight me. The Dagobah training is the
Yeah,
best part
so
of
when
all Star Wars.
This is like mirroring that.
I'm an
I'm
Alec
like, yes,
Guinness man myself. That's why I always like A New Hope.
He's
a little
part
more.
of it.
Yeah.
he's there.
He's in Dagobah.
Yeah, he is. He is there.
and he says some great.
He does
stuff.
show up for
Yeah.
sure. I'm an Alec
They
Guinness
dragged
man.
him on set. He didn't like.
What is the line like? I did tell you the truth from a certain point of
From
view.
a certain point of view.
He's
Yeah.
great
10 out
on
of 10.
Dagobah.
Alec Guinness. Are we gonna get a deep fake Alec Guinness?
At the
and,
end.
Obi-Wan?
At the end,
Well,
maybe.
Watch out.
I think what makes me feel like
Watch
better about the
out.
Luke stuff is Luke or Mark Hamill is doing it. You know.
Spoiler alert, though. A lot of that VO was
Yeah?
DeepMind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An AI
Yeah.
did a lot of the VO, and like some of the lines you can hear were like weird. Because
Yes.
I watch it
Yeah.
twice.
But it's getting better at least.
Okay. I feel
DeepMind.
bad for admitting this, but it's so true. Luke is far and away my favorite character, And so it's like, I will take what I can get.
Hell yeah.
Well,
Like,
yeah, he was my favorite
Luke in his
too.
prime.
It's the Luke
Why
we
do-
actually wanted
yeah.
to see.
Why do people get
Yes.
mad at
Yes.
more Luke in that era? Because it's like such a
Because people are like,
we want that.
sick of the Skywalkers.
like in between 6 and 7, Luke like
This is Luke in his prime that we
Yeah.
always
I want to see that.
heard about in books and stuff being rad, but we never got to see it on film. And when we fucking saw him on film, he's a bitter old man that was nothing like the Luke character that we all loved.
Dude, the Luke in Last Jedi makes no fucking sense.
It does not. When you have
doesn't.
Mark Hamill saying, "I disagree with everything this character is
I
in
don't.
this
I don't
movie,"
even.
then
I don't
it's
even
like,
have
yes.
a problem with like you taking the character to the direction. It just doesn't. It's just like there's no way that character
Would
that
come to that
everything
outcome
that we've
so
ever known.
quickly?
Yeah, that would get. Or it's like if you're gonna do that with the character, like we have to see it. It can't just be a before and after. It's so frustrating. And the way that they're presenting him in these shows is so consistent with the character. Again, it feels like it makes fucking sense.
Maybe a show later on, some events will make that
Deep
make
fake
more
Luke?
sense. Well, I mean, it doesn't
Maybe.
even have to be. They can animate it. There's so much animated Star Wars.
If you did a Luke show, would you want a deep fake live action Luke or just an animated show?
Good question. I don't know. The Luke in this made me more confident compared
really
to
good.
the last time, but
I
I
think
don't know.
they were considering
I don't
about
think
it. They had a
Luke
lot
should
of like
be-
his
if-
face was not in the frame. Yeah.
If they do a show Luke, I don't think it should be live action because if they're gonna have him that much, should be sparing with that. If you're gonna be using like robot face,
Here's the problem though, and this is just true. If you do animated, which I think would be great, I think they handled like say Anakin and Obi-Wan phenomenally in Clone Wars. Unfortunately, just a huge portion of the audience will not.
They
take it
will not
seriously.
care.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm
Absolutely.
not. I am not. That is not a comment on the quality of animated shows.
Correct.
It just is.
That's just the truth.
It's just the truth in a very frustrating way.
Yeah,
and so like
it is.
I think they've actually handled Luke really, really well. I would be okay with them moving away from Luke.
He doesn't need to be here right now.
I think it makes perfect sense that they're doing an Ahsoka show. Rosario Dawson is crushing it. She's crushing it.
They got
So-
Rebel stuff to figure out first before we have to go back to Luke. That's what Ahsoka will be.
All right, dude, I need to get on. I need to finish Clone Wars. I need to watch Rebels. I need to watch Bad Batch. All right. That was a long but passionate discussion. I don't know if it was interesting to anybody but us, but I had a good time.
You're just never going to change anyone's mind on Star Wars.
Star Wars is one of those
know?
things.
So
That's
it's
not
like
true.
semi-exhaust-
That's not true. My mind's been changed about things from what people have said. I'm
you're-
like, that's right.
You're level-headed, Brad.
yeah,
Well, there's some level-headed people out there.
I think, you know what? I think both of you bring up good points. I think Brad is right that there are good voices out there. I've heard plenty of great Star Wars criticism. There's also a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
So
Like
Star Wars,
everything.
like everything. Yep.
It's like a Game of Thrones situation. That old Star Wars.
Well, just everybody hates Game of Thrones now, and everybody's correct. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of unanimous
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time. Most of the time, I guess.
True.
I don't know anyone that liked. I've never seen anyone
how
that liked.
how could you? Like, I just I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't get
Yeah.
it.
But like, yeah. I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Lighthearted show.
Lighthearted, but also
Is it ultra
not.
violent?
Brutal.
Yeah, okay.
Brutal.
Okay.
Like, okay,
Is it Suicide Squad? The Suicide Squad tone, essentially?
yeah.
Okay.
I think the tone's better than Suicide Squad.
It's just like the graphic violence.
if there's graphic violence, there's
Comedy.
some graphic sexual stuff. I would say, however, that as the show goes on, it really does just a great job of making these characters seem believable. And like John Cena Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad is kind of a joke, right? Like he's very funny, but he's there to kind of be this larger than life person, this like I will kill any man, woman, and child to obtain peace, like this kind of hyperbole of a character. And what Peacemaker does is like that's still true. He's still that character, but they ground him in this way where they kind of peel back his layers and you're like, holy shit, like he's still a douchebag, but he's got so much more going on.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him.
Yeah.
John Cena, the man. Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Didn't he kill the Attitude Era?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Huber, I had no
He,
expectations going on in the show, and I will defend it to my dying breath now.
Expectations is everything.
yeah.
You know, expectations is so much. When you have no expectations, you're not disappointed, and you can be surprised by how good things are.
Yes.
Same thing, Ben. There were no expectations, but if this was a Batman show, my expectations would have been way higher. It would probably been way more critical.
Yeah.
But it's been nice to go in with no investment, no stakes, and it's just liberating. It's freeing. I'm not like trying to connect all the dots, put everything together. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
And it feels really good.
And again, it doesn't feel like it's relying on gimmicks. It's like it's really doing the work. There are these group of people that are just they start out just trying to do a job, and they're all kind of fucked up. I feel like James Gunn is very good at dealing with broken characters. They're all kind of fucked up, and over time, and what I love is it doesn't do that thing where it's like, oh, we went on a mission together, now we love each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like, they still kind of lie to each other. They keep things from each other. It's a very gradual, like, oh, I care about you in a way that feels so believable, to the point where when they do finally start bonding, you're like, I totally buy this.
Yeah.
It feels genuine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cast. That's everything. And James Gunn writing every episode, again, oversight is so important.
Yep.
It's like this other show I'm watching, 1883 and Yellowstone, every single episode is written by Taylor Sheridan. It's like that is so essential. You
can tell.
need somebody steering the ship, charting it out. Yeah, and he directs like more than half of the episodes too. Of Peacemaker, James Gunn. I didn't know Harcourt or whatever is James Gunn's partner. They're like together in real life. They've been together.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they've been together for like 7 years.
She is great.
Yeah.
Harcourt.
Yeah, I'd never seen her in anything. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's cool.
I think with ensemble casts, another thing that is very difficult to do, which again makes me impressed with James Gunn's writing, is like obviously the focus is on Chris Smith, Peacemaker himself, but there's no one from that core group that I feel like doesn't get ample time to shine. Like Economos, Adebayo, Vigilante, Myrn,
Yeah.
Harcourt, they
All of
all have chemistry with each other, and they all feel like they have sufficient things going on. Like they really feel like an equally valuable unit in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like threading the needle of being standalone within this universe, though. I just think it's doing it so well.
It
It's like
absolutely is.
S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the day of just like one little thing that doesn't feel forced or weird or out of place. They're just like mentioning that thing and it's not a big deal. I'm already like moving on, Whereas I just feel like with WandaVision obviously had to deal with everything that had come before. Like, there's so much they have to deal with in the MCU shows. I feel like they have to address certain things. Hawkeye had to address Black Widow and all this. Like, everything needs to be addressed. Whereas Peacemaker is like, there's like a funny Batman joke that isn't essential to the story. It's just a funny Batman joke.
Right.
Like,
It can make a Batman joke, so it does, but it doesn't rely on Batman jokes.
exactly. Yeah. So I just really, it's so well done. I just like it a lot.
Yeah, man. I'm so cautious because I don't want to spoil anything because I really want people to watch it because I think a lot of people would be surprised and impressed.
Nobody asked for the show.
No one asked for the show.
Nobody was asked. That was the joke when it was announced. Nobody asked for it.
It's
Here
better
we
than we
are.
deserve.
It is.
It's so much better than we deserve. Because the thing is like this type of the humor that it plays around with. Like even as I'm talking, I'm like, man, James Gunn is just a really good writer because it absolutely uses shock value in every sense. It uses liberal use of profanity, liberal use of sex, nudity, very liberal use of violence, and it's like all of those
Shotgun.
all dude that episode
Shotgun.
it hits hard.
Gun.
all
Feel
of
the
these-
kills.
All of these things I think could immediately get stale,
Yeah.
especially when you have 8 episodes, 45 minutes apiece. But what it does is like when it leans in hard on one thing, I feel like it doesn't like keep banging on that door. Like it'll have a vagina joke and it will use it and it'll pop up and then it'll go away. And then it'll have a race joke and then it'll pop up and then it'll go away. And it's like it keeps its bag of tricks fresh. And it feels like it has a lot of tricks to use in a way that like when they do something, I'm like, okay, that actually caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And we're talking about antagonists and villains, and Peacemaker's father,
T-1000.
T-1000, is just so thoroughly a piece of shit that when there's any confrontation between them, like I'm like, dude, put that guy in the ground.
Yeah, I'm
you know?
down. I'm down for some Robert Patrick action, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. He was in he was in one COVID episode of The Walking Dead. During COVID, Walking Dead added like, we're gonna do some smaller COVID episodes, and like they had him in there. He's just so great, dude. I'm always down for some T-1000 action, dude.
You were talking about like connectedness, and I think a good way of that they use it effectively. Minor spoiler is Adebayo is Amanda Waller's daughter.
Yeah.
Right, and Amanda Waller shows up just a little sprinkling.
Yeah.
But like she kind of casts a shadow over this character. But it doesn't. It's like it uses that connection. It uses that extension to make this character more involved and more interesting. But it's not like constantly like, oh, you're just Amanda Waller's daughter. She's very much her own person. So I think that is a perfect example of using this extended universe in a smart way.
Totally. Yeah, like. I really like Loki. I love Loki, but it also felt like they had to. It was a show about addressing the entire MCU, you know, and that to me came at the expense of characters. Like, there's some really good characters in Loki. I love Owen Wilson, love Loki, but like you were saying about this cast, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to watch the show because I want to be with them and watch them, rather than do my homework and connect plot points. You know.
Yeah, I sort of get what you mean, where, like, following the MCU, a saying that I have is, like, I don't know how anyone doesn't, like, if you care about the continuity, I don't know how anyone doesn't watch these shows. Whereas, like, with Peacemaker, it's like, if you've seen the Suicide Squad, great. If you haven't, great. Like, it is just a great show.
It's just a
It
great
is just a
show.
great show, period.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then just thinking about Star Wars, like, I don't envy any, like, that's a dream, dude. Obviously, you get to work on Star Wars, anything that's a dream, but, like, that must be really hard. There's just so much baggage and expectations. Like, you're always going to be living in the shadow of one of the greatest trilogies of film ever made. Like, crazy expectations.
Yeah.
For anything Star Wars related, so many opinions. So it's just been nice to kind of watch Peacemaker in a vacuum because no one's talking about it. No one's watching it, really. Feels like.
Dude,
It's sick as shit. I love it.
Watch it.
Watch it. It's good.
I know
No
it
one
gets
asked
annoying
for
when
it.
people recommend stuff, but
Yeah. Nobody asked for it, but it's good.
no, yeah. Well, it's just like the story feels like what's fascinating about the overall plot, right? If you really break down just like what happens and what their mission is, it's very basic. There's not much to it. But it feels like these characters actually have depth that is worth exploring, and that is what came first. You know, it's not like they totally could have done this where it's like they would have done the annoying thing where it's like they're constantly being like, oh, here's what the Suicide Squad is doing, and making this team feel like a B team.
Yeah.
They don't. They are the stars, and they get all the attention, and they get all the development, and it's awesome.
Dude, I hope the finale is like 2 hours and it's just the Suicide
I'm
Squad
so
sequel or something. Like,
I'm
let's
so
go.
sad. He mentioned, I think James Gunn was like, another season could happen, and we're going to do something else as well. And it's like, dude, James Gunn crushing it, in my opinion.
MCU and DCEU. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Put him on Star Wars next. Shit.
He just, nothing he does is like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It's very much,
Finger
like,
on pulse.
you can tell immediately that it's a James Gunn thing, but I feel like he's also still surprising me. Like, I like Guardians of the Galaxy a lot. Really do. I think these characters are better.
Holy shit.
I think these characters are better.
Holy
I
shit.
do. I think they're more interesting.
Whoa.
I'm not trying to slam on Guardians of the Galaxy. I think these characters are better.
This is like the first moment, like Peacemaker's the first moment where like, yo, DCEU competition here,
Yeah,
MCU.
it's
They've been
really
down
good.
in the dumps for so long.
Yeah.
The Batman's coming. Things are looking up, DC.
Could be a honeymoon phase. I don't know. But that's how I'm feeling. All right.
Expectations are everything.
They are. That's true. I love Guardians. Don't get me wrong. Calm down. It's time for the HOTTAKE. So I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to talk about on the HOTTAKE today, but I thought that this might be an interesting conversation for you guys, particularly Huber. I think this might be an interesting conversation for you because Lost Ark apparently has become one of Steam's biggest games already, right?
Tried to play this morning, but it
Yeah, they're having problems.
Yeah,
But,
problems.
but
Yeah.
there's massive
I'm ready.
massive interest. Peak concurrent users
Yeah.
from the IGN article I was reading, 532,476. Okay, so it's blown up. You go on Twitch, massive, right?
Yeah.
Just like
500,000 people
monolithic.
were watching Asmongold Gold.
yeah,
500,000 people.
that it's wild, right? And obviously this game has existed in other territories, Korea, I think specifically,
Yeah.
beforehand. So there is some legacy there, but. What I was, and I admittedly, I've played like an hour of Lost Ark, and it
Nice.
seems really fun. I can't wait to play more of it.
Yeah.
I'm not commenting on the quality of the game. I just think this like Flashpoint, this flash of success, thinking of DC Comics, this flash of success is very interesting because I feel like New World kind of went through
Yep.
exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
And I feel like these sort of like boom moments comes out, and it like is captivating everybody, and it becomes the big it game, and then it
2
fades
weeks,
away.
week later.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that is going to happen to Lost Ark. Like I
Sure.
said, it does seem like a cool game from what I've played, but I'm just wondering, like, is that true? Like, can it sustain momentum? Are these sort of like here today, gone tomorrow? Is this really healthy for the industry? Not saying that is going
I've
to happen.
actually been thinking about this in a different context,
Okay.
Ben, because people don't finish video games anymore like as much, and there's like immediate opinions on something. So like, yo, this game's great. You know, you played it for like 30 minutes, an hour. You play a couple hours. This game's great. But then like you play more, and maybe it's not so great. Maybe it starts to get like a little boring. You know, maybe repetitive. Maybe the Dying Light 2 combat in the very beginning is the same as it is in the very end. So there's this like immediate reaction of this is so great. And then like it's up to the quality of the game to have it go on past launch.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
then it becomes really a discussion of like credits roll. Does this game hold up? Is it really wonderful? You know, because the New World was exposed.
Yeah.
The honeymoon phase in the beginning was phenomenal, but then
Right.
people realized,
Like-
hey, 70 hours later, you know what you're doing? The exact same thing.
I think you are touching on the core of the issue where it's like these games sometimes, and I'm not speaking about Lost Ark specifically, like I said, I don't know, but I feel like sometimes these games have like enough coal to get the fire started,
Yeah.
but they don't have enough to keep it burning, which is really a
Right.
shame. I also think, and I want to throw this at you, because you were talking about expectations or everything, I feel like people have a game in their life. I think World of Warcraft is a very good example, where World of Warcraft to so many people is like some of the like literally some of the best memories of their life.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just like, I would give anything to have that back. And so they can't help themselves but like put that expectation onto the thing.
Yeah,
And
people
of
MMO.
always
course,
do that. Yeah,
of course
absolutely.
it cannot live up or
Yeah.
very likely
I
cannot live
mean,
up.
when Shadowlands came out, I think it was like the fastest selling PC game of all time when it came out. Something crazy like that, and now everyone's like, "Fuck World of Warcraft!" Like so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of Lost Ark, yeah, there's something there. I think there's something like really fun about it, but I do think it'll die out. Like I don't think it's gonna die, but like no way are the numbers gonna sustain this way. It's just
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
Even Fortnite, you know, everything has to have a high.
Yes.
And then it stabilizes.
And it's like this came out at a good time. There's not a lot of new games coming out
this
like
week
Path
is
of
like your
Exile
last
2,
chance.
no Diablo 4.
This is a good time for this to come out.
Yeah, no, it is. I completely agree with that. But then you know the other side of it is like maybe that's exactly the business plan where it's like you think about these games.
Well,
and
it's like a pay to win game and stuff like that too. So
I didn't know it was pay to win.
there's pay to win stuff.
Oh Jesus!
Pay to
Christ.
win.
Yeah,
not pay to play.
Yeah, my girlfriend's been playing a lot. She's like, yeah, there's pay to win stuff.
Fuck.
And it's grindy. And I was like, oh, okay, no thanks.
Pay to win.
I don't know how pay to win. It's like BDO. She was saying like BDO kind of esque stuff.
Great. Okay.
But
Yeah.
like
haven't-
BDO's is pretty popular.
So that's what I wanted to say. Where it's like maybe that's like the business plan all along, where you have this huge surge at the beginning,
Yeah.
and it's like even if that shrinks exponentially,
well, the people who are playing it still are
Right.
the ones who spend all the money.
it's like if you're charging people perpetually,
yeah.
it's like you'll be fine. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, and it's but
It's all about getting people on board immediately. It doesn't even
Yeah.
matter what comes next. Like
Yeah.
I'm scared that like that could be the darkest timeline of like, yo, People don't want to miss out. They just want that early opinion. If we make the first bit of our game wonderful,
you get those,
everyone's in.
You get those Twitch streams. You get those YouTube videos.
Cyberpunk, really? How many people went through the process of getting a refund? A lot, but like how many didn't?
Yeah.
And just because they didn't want to go through the hassle.
That game still sold crazy amount.
Yeah, and it eventually turned, PC version, whatever, the whole nother. But how many people are like have a subscription and just don't cancel it because they just let it go? I've had my Crunchyroll subscription for years because it's like, well, I watch Boruto every once in a while, but I should go through the effort to cancel it and then subscribe. So it's like Lost Ark, dude. They just get everyone on board day one and they're good.
Yeah, and it's a new MMO, and I think people are always looking for a new MMO.
Absolutely.
Always.
Right.
Like when Ashes of Creation comes out, it's gonna be big for a while. I don't know if it could sustain. I have no idea, but it's gonna be big when it comes out.
I just think about like World of Warcraft at its best in Final Fantasy XIV, and I look at the success, especially of something in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's like its success is built on the back of quality, like just straight up.
Straight up, yeah.
Everyone loves it because it is amazing.
Yeah.
I just don't love like this is built on the back of you got enough people on the hamster wheel. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, like. And I get it, and on some level, I'm so torn. I'm not saying that's what Lost Ark is. I'm just using that to frame a wider discussion, where it's like on some level, I like being on the hamster wheel sometimes. You know what I mean?
The only reason I'm interested is because it's so huge.
Yeah,
that's literally the only reason I'm fiending to play. It's like everyone's playing. Shit, I like these kind of games. I'm jumping in. Like if no one was playing Lost Ark. Like, I really like the look of it. I like action RPGs like this.
Dude,
I
that's
probably wouldn't give it the time.
What's so funny is, like, I was going through the prologue, and, like, man, the story was delivered rough. And, like, you'd be reading...
They skip the beginning. I was reading about this, actually. In Korea, you have to choose a class, and you get up to level 10. And I think they skip all of that now. You start at level 10. Did you start at level 10 by chance?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I was doing the prologue, and I like.
Does it give you like a weird recap video? I was like reading about this. It sounded so confusing. The onboarding. It sounded weird.
It is very weird because I picked Gunner, and it was like, "Do you want to see the class story?" And I was like, "Sure."
That's it. And I like traditionally the original you would play through that. And you don't do that anymore.
Well, because the class story made no fucking sense. I felt like I just picked up a book and was reading like 75% of the way through. Because it was like, it had this dialogue, it had these characters, and I'm like, I don't know any of it. What the fuck is this? And then you do the prologue, where it very much feels like more of like a beginning. Where it's like, here's what's going on, here's what the arcs are, here are different factions at play. But I'm like, how does my Gunner fit into that at all? So that was a big mess. And it did the thing where like, the lines they were saying didn't necessarily match up with the subtitles, which was very funny. So the storytelling, at least the very little I've seen, was a little rough. But, dude, it felt fucking good. So the Gunner was so cool because what you are is you have 3 different modes that you can switch between just by hitting a key. You can go from dual pistols to a sniper to a shotgun, and all of them have different skills.
Sick.
And, like, of course, they're super flashy and fun to where you're, like, shooting a giant lightning ball and, like, seeing it go through. You're flipping over people. Like, it's just very flashy. You feel the impact. It's fun. You're fighting a lot of things at once. And so, like, the immediate visceral reaction is a positive one. Obviously, I haven't dug deep into the mechanics yet. That will come in time.
The barrier for entry is low, isn't it? It's like free to play. Yeah, so
it's not free to play.
It's free to play now.
I think it is now.
Okay.
Yeah,
today.
So it's like
today.
That's such a low barrier for entry. So many people are going to just check it out.
New World.
It is.
Yeah.
New World.
The New World is like, you buy it once. And
you don't have to worry about the subscription.
And it was like $40.
Yeah, but the thing, some of the stuff feels so fucking gross because I was lucky enough to get a code, and they're like, hey, make sure you stream this. And I was like, okay, so I entered the code. Turns out they gave me like the super premium pack. Guess how much that shit is?
$100.
$100.
Wow. Pay to win, dude.
And it's like, here you get this title, you get all this stuff, you get this super
extra
cool
bag
looking armor.
Space. Do you get extra bag space?
I don't know, but like
classic MMO pay to win mechanic.
Yeah, it's weird because like in a lot of ways, I think Path of Exile, does a really good job, and I have praised its free-to-play nature there, and I do think it's good. But I also got to this point with Passive Exile where like I'm playing so much of this, I want to look cool, and you just drop $60 on looking cool, you know? Because like my character in Lost Ark is fucking gorgeous. Like they're awesome, and you're like, you look really cool, and like just psychologically, they're twisting the gears in your brain where you're like,
dude, slack me what server you're on tonight.
Yeah,
I'm playing.
I will.
I'm booting it up tonight.
I think
it's already preloaded, baby. Like I'm in for Lost
You
Ark.
in?
I'm in.
Because I'm gonna be in.
I literally preloaded last night, and I was like,
tell you-
it'll
I'll tell
probably
you-
come out tonight,
I'll
and
tell
then
you
it was
the
like
server I'm on. Yeah.
it was like 9 a.m. and then I got up like semi early today.
Ooh.
Got up at like 10, semi early, because I was gonna play, and it was like, oh, it's down, like problems, you know, launch day woes. But I think it's up now.
My sleep schedule, like I've finally gotten to a point where I feel like I go to bed at a semi-reasonable time, but I just don't stay asleep. I'll like sleep for 4 hours and then I just get up, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Not to go
I was
into
thinking
that.
that line in The Rock. I get up 3 times a night to take a piss. I don't know why, Ben. That is a fucking movie line that has stuck with me for 20 years.
I do not
don't know
remember
why.
that line
I don't know.
at
I
all.
don't know
And I've seen The
why.
Rock.
Ah!
I think I've seen The Rock. Anyway. Yeah, man, Lost Ark. I didn't bring it to frame check because I haven't played enough, but man, my ambition, because I fucking love action RPGs.
Yeah, you do, dude. I was like, oh, Ben's gonna play this for
and
sure.
I'm like,
this is a Ben Moore
I
joint.
think it could very easily have its hooks in me, dude.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, I'm in.
Oh, you're getting me hyped up. All right.
It
Super.
must
in.
be good if a lot of people are playing it.
Who knows, man?
Yeah, who knows,
Okay.
dude? Streamers,
Who
man.
knows?
Just
Who
as long
knows,
as they
man?
get paid, they'll stream it, and then your game is big.
Are we ready for some emails?
Yay.
Are you ready for some football?
Our first email comes in from Alex. Hi, Ben. The question, I love Front Mission. The latest Nintendo Direct made me really happy. Not only do we get a new version of Front Mission 1, we also get Front Mission 2, which never came out in English. I will obviously buy it day one, or so I thought. In my opinion, the gameplay footage of Front Mission 1 did not look as good as the original game. Yeah, I agree. It looked rough. I haven't played Front Mission 1, but just what they showed looked rough. I agree. Am I wrong for wanting to buy this, even though it is potentially half-assed? I absolutely want the Front Mission franchise to succeed, but is it really the right move to financially support this level of quality?
I mean, you could buy something with not being 100% pleased with it.
There's that. I also think that, like, and I fall into this trap too, so, like, I sympathize, where you're like, I'm such a fan of this, I feel like I need to support it, even though it's bad.
This is a specifically tough thing to be in, because I say vote with your dollars,
Yeah.
you know.
But just because
if you love it, like...
I think, and it's hard to do because you do love it so much, and it's okay if you buy it even if it's bad. That's fine. But if something is bad and you don't buy it, it doesn't mean that you don't support the thing or you aren't a fan.
Wait and see. Life is Strange, second favorite franchise of all time under Resident Evil. I didn't buy the remaster because it's buggy as hell.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
Doesn't mean
waiting.
you don't
One
like
of my
Life is
favorite
Strange.
things of all time. I'm just gonna wait a minute.
Or if you're like, I'm going to wait for a sale, also
Exactly.
totally fine.
Totally.
Yeah, but also if
wait
you're
it
like,
out.
man, even if it's bad, I just missed Front Mission, so fine, also fine. There's
it's fine.
no wrong
There's no
answer.
wrong
Yeah,
answer.
no wrong answer. But definitely, if you're hesitant, wait a
wait.
day or two.
Yeah, if
you
you're
know?
hesitant, yeah.
Check it out.
Watch a stream or
Yeah,
something or a
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
video. They'll be there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, give me a hell yeah,
I
brother.
want to check it out.
Hell yeah.
Broken Skull Ranch. IPA.
Bro, let's go right. What?
Next email comes in from James. What up, you cool cats? I bought my first PlayStation 3 last week and have been loving it so far.
PS3, nice.
It got me thinking, though, the PS3 isn't new. Although the PS3 isn't new, it's new to me. And that's just as exciting as it would be for me to get a PS5 or Xbox Series console today.
That is a fucking fantastic outlook on life.
Aside from playing the newest consoles for work or leisure, what older consoles do you find yourselves going back to the most often? What do you play for them? And is there any older console out there that would be just exciting for you to purchase today as it was for you to buy your brand new PS5 or Xbox Series console? Personally, I'd love to own a Dreamcast. They just look so cool. I'd love to listen to you guys discuss some older consoles. Finally, any PS3 hidden gem recommendations? I love action RPGs, so I'm looking forward to Dragon Guard 3, Tales of Xillia, and El Shaddai. Tokyo Jungle. I didn't even play all of Tokyo Jungle, but Tokyo Jungle is very fun and very weird. It's worth checking out.
Puppeteer. play that game.
Domain.
Binary Domain is fun. But older consoles, what do you go back to the most often?
PS2 and PS1. Sorry, PS2 and PS3. Because a lot of the PS1 classics are on PS3.
Yeah.
It's the PS2 and the PS3 games specifically that are the hardest to track down in the Sony library. If you're trying to play those on PS4, PS5, it's just difficult. A lot of those PS2, PS3 games have fallen through the cracks.
Yeah.
So those are definitely the ones.
The classics on PS3 were really nice.
Yeah. So I that's PS3 is usually where I play Resident Evil, the originals, and PS2 is where I play Dragon Quest 8.
Nice.
Or like wrestling, SmackDown, you know.
I feel like I revisit old consoles pretty regularly. Maybe not as, I don't know. I'm kind of I really do hop all over the place. But in terms of like consistently coming back to, I feel like just the SNES, the NES, and the Genesis, those games are just so pick up and play that it's just
I feel like so many of those are on Virtual Console though. So technically,
we're just talking about the library.
Oh, yeah. So you're right. I may not. You're right. I may not be playing them on that hardware, but
that
library.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, if that's the case, then NES all day. Yeah.
Mm.
Love going back to NES games more than anything, for sure.
Yeah.
Just press start and go, baby.
It depends what my goal is.
Sure.
I guess if it's casually playing something, it's like Super Nintendo or NES, but there's when I'm really digging into something, it's usually a PS1 game because there's so many sick ass games I still haven't even played on there.
Nice.
But the ones I want to do are Sega Saturn. I like never played like anything on Sega Saturn, and I never had a Dreamcast,
really
so
good ones.
I would love to play a bunch of Dreamcast games.
What is frustrating about Sega Saturn is there are some games that I want on Sega Saturn that are literally
$700.
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, you can emulate them, but
Real hardware is
Getting-
always the best.
getting it on real hardware is like prohibitively expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. A lot of those Dreamcast games have made the jump over the years. So shout out
Yeah.
to just that. Skies of Arcadia only being on Dreamcast and
GameCube.
GameCube, though.
Yeah, it hurts.
Come on. Whole generation of gamers want Skies of Arcadia. You re-release that, that'll be freaking top tier seller.
Bro, just re-release it.
Just
Everybody's
re-release it.
doing it.
Just re-release
Nothing
that.
is sacred.
That's
Re-release
that's an ace in the hole right there.
Our last email comes in from Son of Sparta. And it is pretty long, so I may cut this down. I'm sorry, Son of Sparta. I think it's a good question. But it's very long, so I might cut this down. I was
Not Gerard
recently
Butler.
listening to your Game of the Year deliberation. I was recently listening to your Game of the Year deliberation. Great listen as always. And I couldn't help but notice that Genshin Impact was almost entirely missing from your discussion. With it not being a 2021 release, that was expected for the most part, but no mention of Genshin, even during best additional content, was fascinating to me. It's obvious that most allies don't play Genshin. I'm not here asking why you don't, but it did make me wonder why even outside of EZA, it seems like the majority of enthusiast/hardcore section of gaming is somewhat overlooking Genshin Impact. He goes on to say that there's a lot of things that Genshin Impact has done, a lot of updates. In short, Genshin Impact is doing a lot of high-quality things, and yet it seems like the majority of enthusiast players are ignoring the game. I wonder, why do you think that is? Is it because of the anime-like art style? Is it because it's a new IP and not from a well-known franchise/developer? Is it the stigma of it being a free-to-play gacha? It's being one of the better free-to-play gachas out there in terms of rewarding free-to-play players. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Purely time. I really want to play Genshin Impact badly. It's been high on my list. The other day I came in, I was like, guys, I really want to play Genshin.
Yep.
I never played. I really want to play this.
Yep.
Purely time.
Yep.
I give that time to Fortnite.
Yeah,
like a
I just
casual.
don't feel like playing it. Really, there's nothing against it. Like I've played it and I thought it was good. Like I just don't feel like going back into that world and playing it right now.
Yeah, I'm more along the lines of Huber, but with like kind of an addendum. So I have played Genshin Impact, and when I play it, I love it. Like it's right up my alley. It's exactly my kind of game. It hurts me that I have not played more of it.
Same, yeah.
But
I was
straight
like,
up-
how did I not play this?
That time went to Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
like these things are taking
Yeah,
Yeah.
dozens of hours to get through and spend time with. It's like I also want to play other games,
Yeah,
right? And
Honestly,
so
Ben.
I do. I love Genshin. I really do. I want to get back to it. I need to get back to it.
It was
I think
good
it's awesome.
from what I played.
I want to get back to Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis,
Yeah.
you know? It's just like that I made a choice. That choice was Final Fantasy 14.
It's purely who plays it too.
Yeah.
It's like if my friends are not playing Genshin, I'm not playing Genshin.
That could be a
Like
factor,
my
for
friend,
Yeah, that's
my
definitely
best
a factor.
friend Grumbomb plays Fortnite, so that is one of the main reasons I play Fortnite because that's where I hang out with him. I'm not gonna go into Genshin just alone by myself. Like that's why I played Destiny 2, but like we've got the EZA clan, you know, people reach out, we group up. Like Genshin, I feel like unless we partied up, but even that, the multiplayer is weird, right? Because you go into somebody's world and they don't make progress or something.
It's like not super streamed. Like you have to invite someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
just a
kind of
little
weird when we
different.
did
I haven't
it. But
spent enough time with it to like.
we did it
condemn
once, but
we did
don't,
do it once.
We are not
Yeah,
experts on
we are
it.
not.
But where my friends are is usually where I'm going with multiplayer games.
100%.
And then I'm going to put single player above everything.
Like, yeah, and like there are definitely like when I have to make a hard decision, it's like, okay, I adore Final Fantasy. I have for most of my life. Like that's gonna be a pull, but it's also like
Damiani's there,
yeah,
Brad's
it's
there,
like-
you're there.
like yeah, I don't really play Final Fantasy 14 with Damiani and Brad, but I am excited to talk to them about it. And it's like, you know, it's nothing. I'm not mad at you guys, but I have no one to talk about Genshin Impact.
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
I'd just be playing it alone, and that'd be
Exactly.
fun. But like, and like, I know. There's people in the EZA community that play Genshin Impact. I'm not trying to discredit that, but like it feels like so many people in EZ Allies love Final Fantasy 14
and
wanna talk about it.
Destiny.
Yeah, and so it's like that. So friends are a big part of it. In a broader discussion, and it does piss me off because I think if you are this shallow, and like this is just my opinion. Of course, you can like whatever you like, but absolutely, there's so many people that I rollingly be like, oh, it's anime. Oh, the women show their boobs. I'm gonna write it off, and it's just like, what are you 7? Like, come on, dude. Like, are you really that shallow in something? It's like, of course, if you can have whatever style preferences you are, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it is one of those things, like, ever since Fortnite, I did finally come to the conclusion I've been at peace, where it's like, I understand there is a massive number of gamers out there
Yeah.
that will not like a cartoon aesthetic, and that is it. They're out.
Yeah.
Period. They're out. And that's fine.
It's just like,
That's fine. So, but by that metric, like, that game will be less popular.
I just
because
don't
it's-
understand it because
I don't know.
To me, it's like taking a gun and deliberately shooting yourself in the foot, and it's just
Yeah.
like if you just, and everybody does this to some degree. So I realize that like there are ways in which I'm being hypocritical because like I just don't like sports, right? Although I do love NFL Blitz. See, so there's some room there, some wiggle room. But I think the more broad generalizations you make like that, the more you are truly like inhibiting what you can enjoy. And sometimes I think like Fortnite is a good example. I was very dismissive of Fortnite. I was like, I tried it. I don't care. You would talk about it and be like, oh, I'm sorry, it's not for me. Then I really sat down, gave it a try with my sister. I'm like,
Sit down, give it a try like Sifu.
This is really cool, dude. This is
Yeah.
really cool.
Sometimes it takes more than one try, though.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes exactly.
A little bit of time.
Exactly.
But yeah, with like, you know, Genshin Impact,
It looks
there
sick.
is a dismissive weeb game.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 weeb game. But I've seen it for games like World of Warcraft, too. They're like, oh, that art style sucks. Fuck that game.
cartoony.
I think some people are.
Fortnite.
I think some people are afraid of being weebs.
Yeah. I think people are afraid of falling in one camp.
Yeah.
It's like, just be in both. It's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's fine.
I love the realistic Last of Us, and I love the cartoony Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's-
And you love Boruto.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Boruto.
it's fun.
I
It's
watch
fun.
Boruto.
Yeah. Dude,
But,
just let yourself
yeah.
be,
Yeah.
man.
in terms of it, just like us not nominating, it's like none of us were playing it.
Yeah.
And it had
we
already
were
come out.
we were unqualified to talk about it, really.
Yeah.
And like there was other things we wanted to talk about more.
Yeah, and
Additional.
Son of Sparta, to your credit, I think this is a great question. I
Yeah.
think you handled it super maturely.
Yep.
This is not me coming at you at all, so I want to make that perfectly clear. But I think sometimes that can be frustrating in this business of coverage is like definitely I wish we could give Genshin Impact more coverage. I am completely genuine when I say I want to play it more. But
I can barely keep up with Destiny.
we have streamed it multiple times. We have given it some acknowledgement. And sometimes with games, that's just like the best we can do. Like we just
Yeah.
can't do everything all the time. And I know that you know that.
Yes.
And you are being super chill and cool. I'm just reiterating
Yeah.
it to make a point.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
But that was a very good question. Breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get back
Now
to
Lost
Genshin
Ark
Impact.
is here, and it's like, sorry, Genshin, damn
I
it.
know. Well, yeah, because we do have some onus on us to like check out the new thing. Yeah.
Because I always see Hashtagonist on Twitter. It's one of my favorite things to check in on his Genshin updates.
Yeah,
Loves
dude.
it. Plays it all the time.
I fucking want to play Genshin,
Always
man.
tweeting about
I wanna
Genshin.
play
I
I'm
just
like,
think it's hard to
yo.
play more than one game that's like a free to play,
Exactly.
going kind of
Exactly.
thing.
I'm also
It's overwhelming
dying to
for
get
me.
through
Yeah.
Endwalker.
yeah.
Fuck it, man.
So many games. Embarrassment of riches.
Embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
Something for everybody, though.
Yeah, there's something for
That's why
everybody.
it's the best.
This was a super fun episode. It's one of those episodes where it's like, man, I had such a good time. We probably pissed a ton of people off.
Spicy. I woke up and I chose spicy today.
We chose violence today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tweet me your opinions about
Yeah.
this difficulty situation. I want to have real discussions.
Don't tweet me.
Yeah,
Don't
just
tweet
me.
about it.
Just tweet me.
Huber.
If you want to tweet me, tweet. No, I'm not going to do that. That's going to be annoying. That's going to be annoying.
You're erased from Twitter.
I don't like Twitter. You can't tweet me there deliberately. I love it.
Can you send someone a TikTok message or something? Like, send Ben a TikTok message
No,
about your
no,
thoughts on-
send me nothing. Send me nothing. That's my decree. Give it to him. He wants it.
I want it. I want thoughts on
But
difficulty.
I fucking hate saying shit like this because like content creators sound so fake when they say this, but like I do love this show. I love that we could sit here and be spicy and have this platform and that so many of you like it and have our backs and appreciate it. I am very truly grateful for that. I like doing this, particularly when these two are on because we vibe very well. Thank you to everybody who wrote in. If you want to send an email to Frametrap, the email address is askeasyallies@gmail.com. One more time, the address is askeasyallies@gmail.com. Thank you so much to my panelists, Michael Huber and Bradley Ellis. Until next time.